have 2 hours left. I'll do some math. A pretty interesting day here setting up as we head towards what the guys were just talking about there. The CPI number coming tomorrow at 8:30, going to be the major event, not only for tomorrow, potentially setting up to be the major event for the week as far as the market is concerned. Nice look, however, as we head into the final couple hours here. The NASDAQ leads the way, 1.15% right now for U.S. markets, that is, 1.07 for the S&P, the Dow, just 0.67 right now, but still positive nicely anyways. Nice day here in Toronto, full percent to the upside for the TSX. Oil, well off the highs, 0.88 right now, kind of grinding back to the downside. Bitcoin and Ethereum still holding on to a pretty good afternoon, full of gains as well. That is a look at the NASDAQ right now. The NASDAQ is leading, so we'll show you that. First here, this is Lucid, if you're wondering, front and center, 8.3%. It was pretty obvious right out of the gate this morning. Not only were most of the EV names pretty strong at the open, but Lucid among those, with Rivian as well, showing all kinds of strength today. Back in positive territory. The consumer discretionary group, however, which is the one we're looking at right here, front and center, all positive on the day. There's Tesla right beside it, only 1.3%. Booking.com, Airbnb, Marriott, all positive on the day. Some of the Chinese names popping up here as well. PDD, 2.02%. Amazon, JD.com, 2.04% higher. There's that MELI as well. Remember, we mentioned that JP Morgan note this morning, talking about a few of those in relation to the metaverse, and positive about both. Regeneron, mRNA, SGen, and Amgen, all negative. Healthcare stocks, a bit of a drag. Otherwise, though, pretty good day. Over here, these are the software names leading as far as tech stocks are concerned. There's Apple, 4% day for Apple, worth noting. AMD, 1.6 downside. AMAT also 0.8 downside there. QCOM, some of the other chip names positive, though, offsetting. So, yes, it's a positive afternoon. Yes, it's a full percent kind of a day, but there are some notable names in negative territory. Hope your day is going well as we head towards the close on a Monday. Again, 8:25 tomorrow. Remember that. If you normally join us in the pre-market, we'll be on 5 minutes early tomorrow to bring you that CPI number, which again will be the major news, major event. Let's jump into a bit of a review here to get things going in the afternoon session. We'll talk a little bit about what was available to you this morning, if you did join us this morning at 8:30, and what was available to you at the open as far as opportunities. To lead the way is Neil today. He's going to lead the way with a look at one of his trades.
Going to look at the trade of the day today, and it's going to be Nvidia. It was all about finding a key level. As always, it's brought to you by Day Trade the World. And when I say there was a key level, sometimes you don't have to look too far when you zoom out on these puppies. Nvidia, this is a 15-minute chart. Just want to show you, last time we sort of got out of that 150 range and broke down. You can see a little bit of a gap down. And back there at the first of the month, wake up. 145 was your resistance level. So we come in, and after Friday, when 145 was rejected on the high, nice hold at the bottom. If you want to look at nice support, gapping into that 145. So at the open, we have a classic case of, well, we've come right up to this resistance level. If it doesn't break it, then I want to look for the short, right? So I'm just thinking about the fact that if we hold this, we're going to have room to the downside. I'm not thinking you go down to 132, that level on the daily chart, but it sets us up for that classic pop and fade. I don't want to say unfortunately, but unfortunately, at about 8 o'clock, it tests this level, gets up to 145, and rejects it, and you're trading down around that 144 at the open, which obviously makes it tricky and a bit frustrating, because what will happen here is I don't want to be short at that low at the open. I'm essentially looking for this to come back in and give me an entry off of that high of the day. This comes down to sometimes you've got to be willing to miss the trade to make the trade, because a lot of times you chase it, you put the short on down here, and are you going to hold a 143.70 all the way when it retests that dollar against you? Yeah, maybe you will. I'm not looking for that. So we are fortunate enough at 9:30 to allow the price to come to us. It bounces up. I'm able to take a 144.60 and change, better relative risk up to that 55 area, and then start working it down. It comes right into that 144. We open, I take a lot out there, and then it comes another leg down into this 143. Now, when we snap back off that level, you have to consider the context of what was going on in the overall market. The NASDAQ was actually booming at this point and looking like we were strong to the upside. We're heading to that 1% plus type of day when Nvidia was testing one of those snap lows. And if you've been watching the market recently, a lot of times we've seen this, where you get these wipeout bottoms and a race back to the start. Noticing that trend, I'm just gonna get out, and the market was strong, and I should have at least thought about maybe find a chip name that I like to the long side, but I wanted to stick with the short. So I wait around for it to come back to my price and then miss this trade. And this is the key. I missed the re-entry off the same price we got at 9:30. Do not catch it here, sitting a little bit higher, and there's your dip. It pulls VWAP, it breaks VWAP, puts in a higher low. That's your secondary play. I'm never thinking it's going to be as good as the first, but I want to be involved in it. So we make a huge mistake here. One of the things I always say is, if you miss the trade, don't jump back in and chase that lost money, which is exactly what I did. It comes screaming up, higher low put in, break out of that range, and then run to the top. I get in on the way in, only to be stopped out. That's no good of a trade. But what comes next always makes sense to me, and that should only be two shorts here, maybe that third one in there, but it's the wick top, breaking that high, and then reclaiming it almost instantly and rejecting that breakout high. So very similar to a wick bottom, a wick top is simply a rejection of that breakout, trapping some longs or trapping shorts when it's on that low, and you're jumping right back into the short position, or in this case, it should have been just jumping into it and not taking that trade. Context is the market was still strong at this point, so we're anticipating a VWAP type play here when I'm making that play off the top. Comes into VWAP, we get most of it out. I do hold some for this level, that same 143 half area, anticipating there'd be a little bit of a hold. So I probably gave Nvidia way too much credit here for being a little bit stronger, didn't hold on to enough there, get it all out, and then try to play back in on a trail, holding to that low. We ended up getting trailed out, getting greedy when it was breaking the low, re-entering into a small short that we didn't really give a lot of room during the lunchtime. But the key thing is here, Nvidia ended up being a great stock short off of those levels. But I always look back to what could I do better, and it's very plain and simple. Once this second short was missed, this one, it's not just that it's an emotional trade, it's I've missed my short. It just went to VWAP. I should have had that buck. Sit back, wait for the next trade. Don't jump in early. Wait for the actual setup. You can like the price area, but it was clear it wanted to test that high. Ultimately failed it, but I didn't need to be stopped out at that high. Still, Nvidia was a fantastic day for me on the stock because we were able to catch the last short. But you've always got to think about, how can I do better? Every day is a new day in the markets. As always, Trade of the Day brought to you by Day Trade the World. Get that capital you need to express trades like this.
Brought to you by Day Trade the World, and that is the watch list, guys. Make sure you grab that every single day. I was just reading a note on Nvidia. In fact, CFO coming out with some comments. We'll get to that in a sec, though. That's the link, guys. Make sure you grab that every day. More than 30,000 sent out this morning via email right to your inbox, absolutely free, every single day, has everything you need to know in the pre-market on it. Then you come join us at 8:30 and we figure out a plan as to how we're going to trade everything on that watch list. Just reading this note as well, Peloton, super strong today, just tested the highs, but is fading back a little bit. It's actually still down 20%, I guess, since that August 24th hey, Amazon might buy them news that came out when they started selling their bikes on Amazon. Anyways, there were some rumors to go along with that as to why don't they just buy the whole company. So we just tested that high again, just saw Peloton pop up on some volume. Nvidia we'll get to. There was also a potential, The Verge reporting a potential security breach or hack that could affect Tesla Model Ys specifically. So TheVerge.com with that one. So welcome in. Let's jump into a few other things that we were discussing in the pre-market this morning. Amongst those were big tech stocks because they were showing all kinds of relative strength when we started the day. Apple still having a great day, up more than 4%, even with the market kind of choppy here, guys. But I mean, if you're going to be involved in a rally, why not use market leaders to do so?
Yo, what's up? Yeah, hey, what's up, Brandon? What's up, everybody that's out there today? Yeah, look, I mean, let's just start with Apple. I mean, I'm short Intel right now. We talked a little bit about that. That one's printing right here, so Intel's going to make us do some of these as well. But, I mean, you want to talk about the biggest and the baddest of them all. I mean, Yeah, get out of there, confetti. Look at Apple today. We took a 160 long, and it wasn't even a 160 break. We just realized that Apple was strong off the open, and we took it. And how silly does this look? I thought I was doing pretty good taking a $1.50 on this trade. It's at 164 right now. I mean, it just touched out to 164.20. You're at 163.67, and this is a 4% move upside for Apple today. So, wow, you want to talk about this name just ripping people's faces off. Like, again, earlier on, we got out right there. I thought that was a nice little move up to 161.50. So that's $1.50. Comes back in, takes down that little level there of 160.150 again. We get out, it baselines, and then off to the races goes Apple. So, yeah, if you want to talk about market leadership today, I mean, there's not much else leading the pack here other than, I mean, they're all upside, but, the big dog right now carrying the load here as Apple, a nice little move to the upside. We're still long. You might be looking at the screen and saying, why is this guy still long Amazon? Because I wanted to be, and I didn't want to drop this until ever, basically. We're long Amazon today as well. So there it is right there, Amazon 134. And again, we're very, very patient with this name, and I know we're, okay, good. We don't have Amazon on the board. Sometimes I get in trouble from Fahad.
No,
when he
big
says,
tech.
Yeah, that's why. I just got to make sure this counts, make sure I still have a job after this. But
He can't talk any trash, by the way.
Okay, he just said I'm okay.
I'll tell you why he can't talk trash.
Yeah, well, I'll hear that in a minute. But right here, 134, there's a nice little move to the upside. That's a $2 winner right there on Amazon as it rips up to 136, 136.50. And we still have it on board. I'll have to clean up this wick, but Amazon's still near the high. So, yeah, you hit that right on the head, Brendan. And then there's other names, too. We went Google long. We went both ways on AMD. And we also went long on Meta. So, yeah, obviously, as the NASDAQ goes, it's up now 5% the last 3 days. So, yeah, or last 4 days, sorry. NASDAQ still making big-time moves. And, yeah, all ahead of the potential storm that is tomorrow. But, Neil, the more we talk about CPI, maybe the more of nothing burger it's going to be.
Well,
but I don't see how it could be a nothing burger tomorrow. Oh, on that note, I guess I got to get here a little earlier tomorrow because tomorrow we are live at 8:25. Yes. So join us as we'll go over some plays. We'll look at the futures. We'll see what they're doing. It doesn't give you that much time to focus on charts, but do your research beforehand, and we'll be here. We'll be doing the same. So tomorrow at 8:25, we're coming back for you guys. So
that's the key.
Hopefully you'll be able to join us then and watch us a little early.
Yeah, that way you're not essentially the number's going to be dropping at 8:30, and we're not doing that.
But that's only if we get 1.5 likes. Right now.
We'll get 1.5 likes. Look, I had a similar long on Amazon today, but we got a couple super chats, and one of the super chats. Did I say super chats? Super chats that I want to get to here. The first one was on Nvidia, and thank you, Nicole, for that. Nvidia made $2 billion off Ethereum mining September 16th. The merger, scheduled for this week. It should happen, but no guarantees. Changes everything. AMD and Nvidia are both being impacted. Would you go long? I mean, I wouldn't go. For the long term, I would never go long in front of earnings. I don't know that this is the right place or time to buy Nvidia anyways. See, I'm missing like 4 or 5 days on my daily chart here. But either way, if you look at Nvidia.
Oh, they went on vacation.
I know. Nvidia goes on vacation when it broke 160
the
here.
charts.
If we come to my chart, Fahad, thanks. Yeah, when we broke this 160, it didn't happen this way, trust me. A gradual move to the downside. But when I look at this is not, too far. This is not something which is setting up for, oh yeah, I have to absolutely jump into this right now. I mean, you have CPI coming out tomorrow. You've got the merge, which if it goes successfully, yeah, it could be a bit of a drain on them. So if it breaks this 130, you could potentially get some fantastic prices on Nvidia. So I think patience is the way to go. See how this one shakes itself out. It's been relatively weak compared to AMD anyways for the last week or so. So I'd be at least backing off of that one. And then we got another super chat about CPRX. Just general thoughts on it. See, I should have just put the black chart up. Now I'm waiting for it to load here. CPRX, my daily hates me. There we go. So look, there's no catalyst on there's no news specifically on CPRX. It is relatively, it's about 100 million float, 7% short. So I usually just talk to the fundamentals, well, not the fundamentals, but the technicals here. And what I see is a bit of a failed break at this top from last week at that 15.15 half. Like you're rejecting that price as we speak after looking like it was in the midst of a pretty good breakout. And there's nothing happening on it right now. So all I see is a wick top and a rejection of 15. If it doesn't break this 15 area, then you're just waiting for it to pull back into the bottom of that tight, nice, that little range that it had there on the daily chart, or just allow it to break back out. There's nothing really, I don't think, to see here unless you're scalping off a 15 level. Clearly all you have is a breakout, rejection, now you're consolidating lower. So you either want to wait for it to come back down for good entry, or just get in when the getting is good to that upside. And only because it's not going to be on the list. Fubo here, I did get into Fubo like right before had to get up for that trade of the day. Essentially just broke 5, got to 501, and wick topped it. So it put a wick top in. I shorted 499.5. My price isn't 5, it's actually 499.5. I got some on the midpoint there, got some out 90s, got some out at 85. I'll play this down into VWAP. I didn't see this to be true, but I heard, or someone said in the chat, and I believe it if that's what they're saying, that Pat McAfee was on his show, I guess, was talking up Fubo TV for
He's got a super chat, so I don't.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, Brendan hears anything about Fubo? Probably true.
And that's from Paul Teixeira. I mean, it's probably true. I'd believe it, but that's not the reason I'm in the trade.
How else can he get paid if he doesn't make the stock go up?
Exactly. But look, I'm not. Look, I'm in the trade because it broke $5, got to 501, came back down. I shorted 499.5. Like, that's a very simple short the top when it doesn't maintain the breakout. Nothing to do with whether I believe the story or not. It certainly could be true. And it's up 10%. They've been running pretty strongly today.
I have not heard that, but we'll have a look for Fubo. I did see it actually on volume there pop up once or twice. Here's a look at Bitcoin, however, currently trying to get back to day highs, back to 22,400. We did come back down below 22,000 there briefly, but ripped right back to highs. So nice day, as we've been saying, for crypto right across the board here. Some of the stocks, though, not faring as well as others. Coinbase, though, not bad, I guess, at this point today.
Coinbase can... Anyways, I'm going to show you Coinbase. I had Square, and Square was block. I had block long, and block long was good. I should have only had the block long. But instead, I went over to Coinbase when Coinbase tried to take out that high. Like the short on Coinbase right at the open. This is basically the same setup as what Nvidia did, but I was going long block because it looked pretty good on the 15-minute and on the daily chart, the level it was breaking out from. But when Coinbase came back in, I did the same thing, essentially, that I did in Nvidia, which is don't allow it to fail first, but then just sort of jump in a little bit too early on that one. So unfortunately, it was a great short at that price.
What's going on?
But I got out of it. Did not get back into that trade, so that'll be a hit for me. Square long was good, but the short not so great. Yeah, we just came down a little bit here.
Yeah, we're a little bit of the opposite there on Coinbase. We were just able to hold the short because it happened so fast. We were in a very, very long meeting today, all afternoon. So unfortunately, we weren't able to take advantage of that 81 call there. We've talked about 80 being the bottom. So down here should have been an out. I set a stop to get out of said position, and didn't get out that much right there. Got out of none, so it stopped us out there in the last 10%. But we definitely hit that to the short side, and I just think that Coinbase continues to be one of those shorts. I think you just got to, bide your time, man. I mean, let's just wait for this thing to crack lower. I really feel like its real home is down here into the low 60s or high 60s, either way, in this area down here for Coinbase. So I really want to hit this short. I'm going to be looking short, just like on AMD and all those other plays that I've talked about the last couple days. Really trying to be focused on directional trading. And I don't believe in Coinbase to the long side. I do believe in crypto long term. We've talked about that on the show as well. It's just my opinion of Coinbase is a little more negative than the overall crypto market. So for me, it's a short there. I mean, obviously, when you look back, you're going to say 84, 84.50 was a great short, but I'm happy with getting this 83. We just took it back into 82. It's a nice trade, and to be honest with you, I mean, I think it might be, there's only an hour and a half left in today's day, but I don't see why, if you're going to watch out for crypto right now and this market moving in. I mean, right now, Bitcoin's doing nothing, hovering around 22.3. We do have, like we talked about there, moving from proof of stake, proof of concept there for Ethereum. But yeah, a nice little move to the downside right now would be nice for crypto to get that 80 break on Coinbase. But for me, I bide my time with you, Coinbase, because there's only one short there, and I'm not sure you're going to see a long unless BlackRock, et cetera, come back to play there. So for me, I'm going to be, ease my time here with Coinbase. Wish I still was short, but like I just mentioned, did get stopped out. I don't want to be too giddy here, but this is a nice little trade for us so far here on Intel as the money's coming out on this. There was a story, Brendan, about Intel. I'm just talking about it quickly there. It was Mobileye, so they were going to spin that off. And apparently now, due to valuations, et cetera, that spin-off is now, I guess, temporarily put on hold, or they're looking for new valuations, which won't be higher in this environment. Obviously, it will be lower. So that can't be good for Intel. But hey, a lot of that's baked in already. So you could see when that news came out, here's the spike, downside. And we don't have Intel on there. No, so we'll talk about this quickly. Kind of a big cap tech name, or was. Big time move to the downside, down to 31 and change, obviously on that valuation now being downsized. But again, they don't have a new valuation for it as far as I can see. It's just Mobileye right now at Intel. Not a great story. So we just fade that all the way up. And we did it all the way up to VWAP, which would have been 60. So our average price at the end of all of these averaged in was 52. So it's about an 8-cent worth of a hit. So just right now, we're only just now getting to 1-to-1. So hey, it's a positive name for us. We're trying to hold out for some more bottoms here. We're still short AMD. And we're long Amazon and short Intel. So, hey, man, this should be a fun close here. As remember, wouldn't surprise me if we sort of go sideways or downside now. Tomorrow is the pending problem if we get that bad number.
It would appear that way anyways. Yeah, kind of choppy. I saw that 50 billion valuation was, I guess, too high for Mobileye. NU downside as well right now. But I mean, this one kind of held up better than most. We were wondering, there wasn't much on this morning, but it was gapping up. I think it was 5% at one point in the pre-market here. We come all the way back to Friday's levels, hold nicely. I mean, it's 20 cents, I guess, of a move off of that, but maybe worth a shot on the long side.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is it ends up bouncing in a level that I guess I kind of like that level. But, you know, I was much more interested in playing the short on NU off of this high on the daily, up around like $6 or in front of 6. And, you know, it was gapped up to 570 early, and then it never really got there. It just only fell to the downside. So it ended up being a nothing burger for me. Maybe we get a chance. And more that I look at it, I know you just said the long there, but with the market doing what it's doing, it might be a scalp roll over short, only I'm not sure it's going to move a heck of a lot. So, you know, this might be a hands off. If it comes back down to that 530, then there could be something there for me on NU. I was just trying to get Meta there. I want to quickly jump over back into Meta because Meta tried to break out 170, failed to break out, lower high 169. So I want to be playing off the short below 169 on Meta. I'm trying to get something in the 168 half range there. And then Fubo pulled down into 480. So the short's starting to come into play. But I don't know if NU is going to be in the cards for me this afternoon unless we see a big drop into closer to that low of the day. Maybe there's a long there if it hits that low.
All right, family, diamond hands no longer, as Amazon right now is going to break through this 135.50. We're in the money $1.40 on this name, but you can see Amazon now breaking through, breaking the 200 period, coming back in. We're just looking right here, 135.50. We should have. Again, you know, the show started, the market was kind of rocking there. Amazon was right back to the high of the day. So we're still holding this from 9:30 this morning, well, 9:40 this morning. If it does break right now, we're going to get out of our last piece here of Amazon as the market, like I said, we're starting to break down a little bit now. We're below the 50 period. I don't like to hold any, you guys know this. I don't like to hold any longs if we are below the 50 period. So this was a new position for me, Intel. We just took it right now, like just as 2 o'clock hit. So I like that. I wanted to be short the semis. We've talked about that over and over again. And so I'm short AMD, which is still $1.50 in the money. You can see that's from up here. That's starting to make, hopefully make a new low down here near 83.50 or so. That's probably going to be a good target to get out. You know, I said that, you know, we have that pending, you know, possible problem tomorrow. It could easily be the other way around. I mean, it could be, I'm actually expecting like almost like a 7, like I don't want to say like a, I don't want to say like a 7-7 or something like that, but I'm expecting a little bit of a lower number than the street tomorrow, just like better in the favor of the bulls. But I'm not sure that that will necessarily mean that the market rallies, right? So, you know, we're going to wait to see what comes tomorrow with the CPI. And then if there is any Fed speak after that, I'm pretty sure they go on a quiet period heading into their meeting and stuff. So I don't know exactly when that starts, but I
think it's already started.
So has it already started? That's what I was going to say.
I think they're already in the quiet period.
I'm not sure we'll get any Fed speak based on what that number is tomorrow, but hopefully we can all figure it out and go from there. But that's tomorrow at 8:30, so make sure you join us. Neil, myself, and Brendan all going to be live tomorrow at 8:25. We'll be here a little early. We'll get an extra large coffee, and we'll see what happens with the number. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I just push the button over there, and whatever size comes out. I mean, we got a nice little machine there. Nice
it's not
espresso
bad.
machine.
It's not bad.
Yeah, that's almost done right there. Actually, this is pretty cool. I got to go in.
Although I'm going to throw this one out there.
We didn't have the Spros last week.
Well, you guys rock the Spros.
But I can't bring you one now. You'll be up till like 3 a.m.
Oh, God. Hell to the no. But by the way,
you don't want to stay up too late watching that football game tonight.
I know you guys enjoy
Geno Smith.
You guys enjoyed Luka, but I can't have coffee past like 2 or 3, man. I'm not going to get my sleep, man. Forget about it. It's just not going to work. But that being said, I will not be staying up to watch tonight's game, first of all.
Yeah.
There's 0% chance. All respect to Russell Wilson, but I'm not going to do it. Look, if the Bills are playing, that's fine. If it was a remotely decent team playing another good team, then sure. But this is going to be an absolute.
Yeah, I actually like the Broncos.
Yeah, I do, but Seattle sucks.
Oh, you're just talking about the game
yeah,
itself.
I want it to be competitive. Last night's game was a disappointment. I didn't watch too much of it because we were catching up on Game of Thrones.
What's up with Dallas, man?
But I did just get into meta.
Wow.
For the first time today. But the market is rolling over, man. I wish I'd found another short because all I got is Fubo. Oh, Fubo. Short, and then now meta short.
You're rocking the Fubos, but you got the
right.
Fubo. Those things, they haven't existed in a I didn't see that documentary on And One. Apparently, it's pretty good.
Yo, I've heard. Yeah, I've heard some big things about that And One.
I'm gonna pull out my And One jogging pants
really cool.
and stuff. Put that on.
Did you see them when they came to Toronto?
No, I don't know anything about this.
Look, when these guys, when And One came to Toronto, I was at the ACC.
Oh no, I missed that.
And it was out of control. The show those guys put on was amazing, man.
Rafer Alston was a rapper.
Skip Malou was he was there.
Yes.
Professor was killing it. Like,
that's the white guy, the professor.
Yo, those guys were legit. I can't wait to see this because how it didn't work out and wasn't bigger for them is an interesting story to me because I'll tell you right now, like when I went to that show, like I was like, that was better than any NBA game I had seen in years.
How bad is that slam dunk contest? Like honestly, the NBA needs to really, like when I saw, what was it, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or whoever it was, literally walk out of the slam dunk contest, I'm like, sheesh, like they got to do something with that one.
Yeah.
But I did hear that. Hot sauce was nice. Helicopter, I think, was another guy's name, maybe. But Fahad in my ear, he's actually participating in this year's slam dunk contest. Fahad is. So I think it's going to be real lit when that happens. So I don't know where that's going to be, but Fahad, he's going to be wearing the Batman mask and everything, and it's going to be insane. You think Blake Griffin jumping over cars is nice? Wait till you see Fahad there at the slam dunk contest, Brendo.
Need more Batman mask, Fahad. I was going to, we'll get to Nio in a second here, but you guys were talking about CPI there. Here comes 8.1. I was double checking what is expected for tomorrow. So it's still an 8 handle expected by analysts for the CPI reading. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Here is, I'll drag this over and show you this too. Here's the note from Bank of America, or the headline from the note for Bank of America. $30 from 29 on the price target. They had a whole bunch of very nice things to say about NIO on an upgrade today.
Now we can't stop talking about basketball,
I know,
so this is a problem. And Brendan said something? Oh yeah, it was NIO.
Oh, I hate you, NIO.
Yeah, that name just really started to run real early. And the thing is that it was on the sticky note. I really loved NIO. We had it up on here, and I'm just going to show it to you what it said for those of you that didn't see it. I mean, it's just. I haven't looked at it since. I mean, I can see it right now that it's up 13%, like a little bit nuts there. But I think this is why you want to. And first of all, if you're not part of our watches, which is watchlist.tradertv.live, what, 33,000 or something today got sent out? So with an unbelievable click-through rate, I don't even want to tell it to you. But right there, Neil Long, $20, man. It might take out 20, I said might. And then, watch out for the 19 support on a Bank of America upgrade, right? So I said, look at 20 for a support. But the key thing for the break, the key thing is when I wrote that, we were down here into 19. Like this is when I wrote the sticky note, 8 o'clock into 8:30. Then boom, it busts it early, and then it was gone. So that's the 20 break right there. And since you broke 20, it was just a little too early for me. It actually broke it at 9 o'clock. So realistically, even if I had the trade, it wouldn't be a huge amount of shares because it was too early and I've gotten hit too much in the pre-market. Not only that, I also spewed some untrue truths. Well, they're true, but it just didn't happen today, that Nio can make a move downside. And that's what I was waiting for early to see if we could get a bid. But Nio, this name is off. Maybe we're turning around. You know, if you want to look for a short, I wouldn't short this name, but it is kind of primed here for a 13% move in Nio on, I'm not really even sure what the move was on. So.
If it rejected 23, not 22, I think I might be in the short because that's a 200 period on the daily. But I try to join it late, and the problem with when you don't get the price that you like, a lot of times you're just not going to hold on to the trade, and that's what happened to me. Like I ended up buying it on this break of the high at 21, and then when I had a tight stop on, I was only giving it about 15 pennies or so, thinking, okay, well I'll just buy the dip when it comes back into 2050. I like buying the dip better than taking the break, and it never got to the price I wanted for the dip buy, and that's the same thing that happened in the morning. Fortunately, another EV named Rivian did come into play, and it was a heck of a lot more clean. And sometimes when you get the price you want or the trade that you're looking for, it's a little bit easier to execute. So on the 15-minute chart on Rivian, was just looking at this 38 level. We can go all the way back to the 17th last month for resistance there. We double topped that on Friday. You break out 38 at the open. We're able to get that price twice. It couldn't take out 39. That was an obvious out. It went back to 38, and Sean, you talked about the long meeting that we had. So I got back in front of 38. It had a low of about 37.80. So I got some out good in front of VWAP, and then just put a stop at that recent low in our meeting. It stops out at about like 12 o'clock. When we come back, it's like, oh, it's all the way back up at that high. So there's no trade for me left in, because it ends up holding essentially that 38 area. But I'm not going to trade it to the long side up here. Not with the market trying to roll over. At this point, either it can break this 39 that I was looking for all day, or I can fade 39, or we can wait for 38 to come in. But that was the one price I liked on Rivian. We're just lucky enough to be able to get that a few times at 38. Just Nio 20s, obviously that's a better trade because 20 to 21 is a heck of a lot better than 38 to 39. It's $1, but Nio's a cheaper stock doing better volume. But at least Rivian was a little bit more clean and didn't have to worry about missing out on the opportunity at that price.
There was a volume spike there on one of those, back to the downside, but didn't amount to anything. Oil, guys, fading as well, back to the downside. Speaking of, we're back to 1.2%, but well off the highs. We were sitting here in the pre-market kind of wondering what was going to happen with some of the oil stocks as we took out highs. It was 2+% for crude oil at one point today. Some of the stocks did participate initially, but kind of a grind since then, back to the downside.
Can I talk about Carvana instead of Oxy? No.
I mean, you can. I only have one negative name, so we've traded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're gonna go 7 and 1.
No. I got the low wick though.
I mean, you got the low wick, but I mean, what? Okay, my price was 65.74, 75. I mean, you got what?
68.
Right. Yeah. So whatever. But unfortunately, I think I averaged into it, so I probably had a bit more shares, but it doesn't really matter. Either way, we both got taken out on the downside there. I really like the trade, and it sucks. Look, we can all look at it with a grain of salt now because we're up and the day is fine, but definitely on this name here, Oxy came right back in. And you might say, well, why did you get out? Honestly, there was this high right there that we put in on Friday. It was just a high of the day. I'm not even zooming back over here to show anything else. I could always nitpick and go in and say, you know what, I should have waited for 65.50 or whatever. But when this is happening off the open and it's literally just collapsing down here, and then this doesn't happen until 9:44, and then I look at oil this morning, and I mean it wasn't a complete disaster. I mean, here's oil when we opened up. It's going to be an hour behind, but here's the open. Like oil's going up and Oxy's cranking down, right? So to me, I just thought that maybe Oxy was a little too high, and apparently not. So I had to have an out. So I took it out just only to watch it run to 68, which was another key area that we had identified as well as a possible breakout. So yeah, a little bit of eating crow here, but we can't be the People's Trading Show, and we can't be honest with you unless we do go over some of the hits. And on this one, and I'm never going to forget Scott H. When Oxy was up here, he's like, "Oh man, you guys should have held on to that." And meanwhile, it's the only thing I'm thinking about is why I don't have Oxy still. So yeah, look, that's going to happen to us, and we both basically had the same trade. That doesn't always happen, but we did like that long on Oxy, and it wasn't wrong. It's just our outs were wrong. So yeah, wrong building of position. Bad out for Oxy, and there's the break to the upside. The truth hurts sometimes, but this is the truth.
Okay, so at least in looking back at it, I look at the entries. There's really nothing wrong with the area of entry for the dip buy. When you look at it, this is a 15-minute chart. Like you had those recent highs, 66 to 66 quarter, but you closed at 65.60. And I'm looking at it, and it's like, okay, well, why was I actually giving it back to allowing it to break that lower high instead of just, like you said, it had to go red. If it doesn't go red, if you're buying it in front of that, you think it's got room to 68. So the long 66 has room to 68. So that's $1.50 to $2 worth of upside. Being willing to hold it an extra 20 cents probably made a heck of a lot more sense. But again, that's just the kind of thing you do when you're reviewing the trade. Like you can't look back on things too much there. But yeah, it'll happen to you. Sometimes these get the best of us. But I just want to go back over. Look, the market's still moving. We just had a bit of a turn to the downside. I don't want to say a huge one, but a bit of a turn to the downside. Like I said, I jumped into Meta here. It got back up to that 168.5. It played into 168. Looked like it was about to retest some of these lows, 67.5. Now just sort of going sideways as the overall, the ES 0.8%, the NASDAQ 0.8% as well. And there is a chance that what we're trying to do here in the market is essentially put in this higher low, maybe continue the upward trend. I kind of look at it as, okay, well, we have a resistance level that's pretty clean here. If I can find something relatively weak, then I like to play the short that we're not breaking those highs. Meta's down 0.6% into a market that's up. That's the reason I favor it. Yeah, you're still kind of in a gentle uptrend in this market if you look at it through the day. It's just a matter of, well, Apple's really strong, but Meta certainly isn't. The chips haven't been all that strong either. So you got to pick your spots if you want to be short here.
I wish I could find one. I'm very close. I mean, I'm close to giving Nio a go here on the short side, but I just don't know. Like, it's up 13%. It's basing out to do it, man. I mean, it's trying. Like, came up, made a nice high at $22 for sure. Key level, I like that. I'd like to see it back here in the 80s so I can hold it to 22. I feel like taking a 40-cent hit is way too much right now, especially if this market rallies back to the downside. So I'm not going to sit here and average into this, but if Nio can get back up to $22, I think I like that. It's just such a strong move in the last couple of days. You're going to go back down 4 days ago, you're at $16. So, that's 25% up. That's 4 on 16. You're actually at 6 on 16 at 22. Like, that's a third. That's 33, 34% up on NIO in just 4 days. That's a big move. And I know Tesla's trying to hold the top too. And then you look at the daily chart. Oh man, why do I always think I'm going to sneeze and then never do? But there it is right here. $22 right there, looking at the face here of Nio. So I like that $22 short. I just like to see it get upside a little more. So, if that comes through, that's a level definitely that I'm going to be looking at. NIO near that 22. So again, I know it's a little bit of a pipe dream right now because it's a little far away, but that's a name that I'm going to look at that I'd like to get into if and when that does come through. I have been getting out, just as we've been talking, we sort of ignored Intel because we talked about it. But again, it came down to some of these levels, and there's a bunch of outs, man. So like right now, I only have 16% of my initial position here on Intel. So, if you can imagine that, a bunch of outs here. It looks pretty sloppy, but again, we're collecting fees. I've actually been paid $4 today to trade. So, we're offering and then bidding. And I know Intel's not a big mover. I was actually expecting it to go down a little bit more on that Mobileye news. So it does kick that down here. And then we sort of settle down because you know what? I guess it's not rocket science. Obviously, if you're trying to spin off something in the chip space right now, your valuations, no matter what the company, Intel, AMD, Micron, whatever, it is going to come down to the downside on the valuation side of things. So, but anyways, big movement down. I feel like that's a catalyst. So let's just continue to do that, watch it out, and see if we're going to be right on that play. And then just a quick update here not before I go. I mean, I got another hour and a half here. But I'm looking at this level of 84 as an out for AMD. So this is the 50 period. We talked about that with Luca last week. And, you know, if you can sort of respect that level, then it's an 84 out. It's actually 83.95. This is a simple moving average, 50 on a 1 minute. It's not a great, a lot of you probably won't use that because you don't scalp as much, but, you know, right here, I'm just using that to get out. I'm only really using it to get out of last pieces. That's really all that I use it for. I don't use it at all. As you can see here, like this rips up. I don't really respect it, and here, same thing. But we went long AMD early, shorted late, and now we're just working off our last piece right now of AMD. But the reason why I'm holding it, I still think negative tomorrow with that number coming. I don't think it's going to be a negative print. The expected, as Brendan mentioned already, is 8.1. I think you could see a 7.8, 7.9, 7.7, something like that come through, which would be, I think, would be a shock. And then, but I don't know. You remember, sometimes good news is bad news and vice versa. So does that mean that they rip the Band-Aid off even harder? They go 75, then maybe they go another 75, and then finite, or I don't know where we're going on this, but it should be a good one tomorrow regardless. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to come on at 8.25.
What?
The thing is, I don't know if people think that this is like an empty promise or not, because we're only at 500 likes right now.
Oh, really?
Over 4,100 people watching. I would like to say we got 1.5 every day last week. So I think we'll get it at the end. But
yeah, we'll get there.
Don't save them. Let's go.
But also, we never want to ignore super chats there. And I see you, Julian. Julian Gomez, thank you for the super chat asking AMC and APE the same. Why not? So I mean, the short answer is, yeah. I mean, look. Basically, yeah, it's the same stake. They went 1-to-1 with that, but one of them can be diluted, which essentially drives the value down of both of them. So in theory, yeah, they should be relatively the same. That's not how it's working in practice. Now it was. Oh, now I forget who it was. Was it Jim Chanos?
I was just, Neil, I was literally just thinking, because when Neil throws it back to me,
for the love of...
I was going to mention the guy that put on that hedge.
Yeah,
well, it wasn't Munger.
It might have been Jim Chanos. Ultimately, it might not matter who it was, but essentially, right away, once it got put out, someone put a big hedge trade on, essentially short one, long the other. When you do that, you can start getting skewed pricing here. So it's not Chanos. It was Chanos. So it's not really trading at a 1-to-1. Like there are moments when it just absolutely follows each other. It's like I have a 3-minute up on both, and you can look at what happened at about right into the open. They both made the same top at the same time, pulled back at the same time, but then. And I'll fully admit, like I'm long right now, 10 on AMC, trying to get to VWAP, and APE had broken out. And one of the reasons why, like you look at this at about 12:51, APE breaks out of the consolidation at the low, and essentially what happens here? We get the same thing, but it holds the consolidation in AMC, pulls back, and in that moment you're breaking higher on APE. I'm like, okay. Well, I'll take the long off support because this is already gone. It'll follow suit. It doesn't mean that it has to, but there is a loose relationship that's happening right now that allows me to like that long off the low. But if it was following 1-to-1, this would already be trading in 10.30, 10.35, a little bit higher. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to have that perfect relationship between the two. However, it isn't a horrible guide. Like if for some reason, if any moment APE had this big drop in, I'd probably just get out of AMC. But it did give me some confidence that I thought we could get a little bit higher after this was already breaking up, and I could get a good price on AMC around that $10. So, to answer your question, it's like, yeah, you own the same value in the company, but it doesn't mean that the price has to stay the same because, quite frankly, when you get large amounts of trading and lots of options volume over in AMC, and you have big guys in Wall Street putting on massive hedged positions, then suddenly you can have kind of kooky price discovery and heavily shorted in one and not so much in the other. It just gets a little bit out of hand. Fundamentally, yeah, it should be 1-to-1, but that's just not how it's going to play out for quite some time.
Oh man, Amazon, yeah, someone just said Amazon went up since you sold it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fine. This is going to happen. We've had a very, very choppy sort of, afternoons a couple times here in the last couple of days. So, that's not a surprise. I mean, if it keeps going up, that's fine. That literally is what it is. I do have a new trade idea though, and that's going to be Meta. So we'll hit this. I think the risk to reward is going to pay off here for Meta. Did that just ring or no? I didn't hear that. I don't know if it rang in.
Why
the
is it
TV's
muted?
off. Okay, yeah. It sounds like a morgue up in here again. Okay, so I think this is well worth the risk to reward right now. Meta breaking through 168.50. So watch out here. If the market can stay above this 50 period, I think the risk to reward is better than 2 to 1. I think you can get to 169 pretty easily on a move up in the market here. And then, even breaking higher. VWAP right now is 169.10, and then you have that top of 169.23. So, hello, where's
broke.
my... Yep. Oh, I see what the problem is. I have the wrong price. I have 1,600 has to break in order for me to get involved with this.
Well, you're probably not going to get
Yeah,
in
so
there.
we'll wait to see on that one. Put on some bids. There we go. There we go. Get filled right now on Meta. So there it is. We are now into Meta long. I put the wrong price. I looked down and said triggered in $1,686. So that's not right, but there it is. A nice little move up on Meta. We'll take that. And again, I'm just looking at this bottom. If we break it, we're out. So that's 168, right? So here we go, a nice little long. We do have some slippage, but it's only a couple cents. Let's see if we can get back up. First target for me would be 169 flat, and it's a new position here for me on Meta. I did take some more out on Intel. This was a good trade to the downside. And then AMD, you sort of know where I am with that. If we break through 84, we're out on AMD. But hey, that would be a good trade. Right now, my main focus and concern, which is not that heavy right now, is going to be on Meta. Let's see if we break that 169 here for META. I like the risk to reward on this one.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea of how trading can work as a day trader, I was short in front of 168.50, or well, it was actually 60 if you look at this high here. So I had the short. I got 2/3 of it out when it hit 168. It did not break that even. It couldn't get any lower. The market tries to bounce, so I just simply get out and take that quick little 15-cent hit. But we already banked on 2/3 of that position. So as a day trader, you want to play these patterns. And it makes some sense. Like John's looking for 169 up that same area. It couldn't break 68. It give 50 cents one way. It can go 50 cents in the other direction. I'm going to go back over to, I haven't gone to Fubo. I'll get back to Fubo in a quick second. But I did want to point out, because we talked about Nio. We talked about Rivian. But Brennan brought us Lucid this morning. And Lucid's now up 9%. I'm like super strong. Even stronger than Rivian. I wish I had this one to the long side instead of that Rivian 38 level. I'll say on the daily chart here, but Rivian gets to like this 17 on the daily, and you've got some serious resistance. See, this one's missing a few days in the end of August too.
You know what?
So 17 or so is a big resistance level over there on Lucid. I don't know if we can get there today, but that's on watch for me now all week. Didn't think we'd get there when I sat down. We're at 15 bucks. On Friday on Lucid. It's up like this 10%. Strong move here. This could be worth it. One of those trying to take out these highs or play back into 1625, because it's got a 1650 high, exactly 1650. So breakout at 1650 sets itself up. We'll ring the register for AMC there. Like, I'm not saying just because APE was going and broke VWAP and was making another leg higher that AMC had to go, but it did give you an entry point on this at a reasonable price when you knew APE was making a run. I think even half a follow through gets you to VWAP, which is what happened here. So I just took some out in front of VWAP. I'll hold a little bit more to see if it can follow up. But Lucid is now front of my mind here for this potential 1650 break.
All right, I don't have too many issues here other than the fact that, okay, so Meta's going to the upside there, and we just got out of some so I just sort of rearranged my thinking here. So we just got out of Intel right there. Not out of it, we just took a piece out at 46 again, because I'm probably just going to get out for flat. I was going to give this all the way up to 60, but if this market does for some reason run into the afternoon, I don't really want to be in too many shorts, hence why we're looking long. We are long, obviously, on Meta there. So I'll hold this. I mean, if it comes back down, fine, but I'm not going to hold it past 55. So I just want to give everybody a quick update on that possibility there of Intel, cracking through 55. That's where I'm short, so I'm not going to let a good trade turn out to be a bad one, as we've already cashed in on Intel. It's impossible for it to be a loser. We actually did quite well getting out down here. Most of these are just little scalps there out, and then, once we were able to get a decent win on it, that's when we started to take some out, because, like I said, it's hard to hold things forever, especially in this market, so please be careful with what you're doing. I'm not going to average into Meta. I'm pretty happy with this. I don't want to be wrong again on this market and then Meta just comes crashing down here. So that's not what's going to happen. We're just going to wait. We're going to go 1-to-1, man. If we can get a 69, great. And then we'll hold some for a blow to the top. And then if it takes out the bottom, then we're out of that. And it's not a big hit. Like, it's a small one that we can afford to take at this point on Meta. So that's what we're going to do on there. You already know my AMD play. Let's look for another name. So I talked about Alibaba this morning. Remember, I drew that pretty nice flag pattern there, and I said that we're going to most likely, break out a little bit there. Well, that's kind of what's happening. So BABA today up that 2.5% on the daily. I don't think my lines will still be there, because why would they be? Well, that's kind of, again, another rhetorical question for that.
Yeah. Well, they should be.
Yeah, they should be, but here it is. I just think that we could take this out. Once you take out 100, it's off to the races up to 120. We just got to do that first. But on the daily chart, it's basing out so nice. I mean, we zoomed in to get those lines, but it's basing so nice down there at 87, 88, and now just looking to break higher. We just need a couple more up days here to get through that 100, and then after that, it's off to the races. You see how aggressive Nio can get on a day like today. So for me, Alibaba definitely basing out. I do think there is long-term risk in Chinese names, especially, I mean, I've been caught holding the bag and I shouldn't be. I mean, I got out of Alibaba, but still have a horrible average price. I think my average price is still like near 180 or something ridiculous. I remember on this, I think it was this bump up here, we were able to get something out around 160, 150, but we've really liked Alibaba for a long time. And I think it can be back. It's just you have that outside risk of the government, and that's just something that's, probably a little too heavy to take on if you're going to hold this for a while. But for a swing trade, I really love it once we get above that $100 mark.
Yeah, speaking of stocks that are sort of strong, I mean, BABA's at the high of the day. This one's, I thought this had actually given it up, and Carvana's right back to the top. And thank you guys for whoever was posting in the chat. A couple people noticing this. I did short this morning off the high, that 42.20. It failed twice. We jumped into the short, played it back to 40 even. It then bounced off 39, got right to that low, and you've got yourself a gorgeous V-shaped recovery right back into the high of the day. This does set up, like if it does fail this break, let's say it gets through the quarters, which it hasn't done so yet, 42.25 is still the high of the day. If we're to get through that, maybe fail to get through 50, there could be a short off of that level. But at this point, it just feels this is more of a long than it is a short, the break that it's trying to make here. So if we do get a break of this top, I'd be much more interested in a 42.5, something along those lines, like allow it to actually hold above that high, not after it failed it last time. I wouldn't jump into it now, just because it went a little parabolic into that move. It failed it last time. I think you could wait for a fail, and then if it holds a higher low, you can get in that way. That'd be about 41.5 here on Carvana. I'm not thinking it sees VWAP. Given when something gives a short like this, and it goes all the way back into the low, and then you see the high again, a lot of times that means you're not, this afternoon, like 1 hour left, you're probably not going to see those lows. It's just too strong at this point. I'll be looking at that 42.50. Lucid's at 16.5 right now, so one breakthrough here, and I'll get that one through the top. But I want to be very cautious, because if this pulls a failed break, you're going to be able to get a much better price if it whips back into 41.50. That'll be my initial plan here for CVNA. I had paid for shorts in case something crazy happens, like it goes to 45 or 50. I'd be all over that one to the south side.
All right, another name they're going to have to pay for shorts on if you want to short it, and we're gonna try to short this one. How about Bed Bath & Beyond? Let's go fail on that one. I don't know if the short's going to be right or not, but you're coming right up into this. I just saw some people in the chat talking about it. Look, congratulations. We talked about that $8 level as being pretty key on Bed Bath & Beyond, and if you've been watching the show for a month, a week, whatever, we've been talking about that, or, at least Luca and myself here looking at that level, and I know we've been looking at it for a while as well. I don't know why this is not backfilling, but that $8 has been a decent level there, so it's bouncing off again. If you're going to look at a 20-minute, I'm not trying to be too cute with this trade. Like I said, very similar to that AMD trade and to Meta, but that 1050 is really going to be the breaking spot. I don't think I really want to go long until we break above that 1050 there. But again, this is missing data, so I don't want to take that chart for what it is right there. Here's the daily chart on Bed Bath & Beyond. We haven't had too many share splits or anything like that. We've had some different things happening with the stock price, including the unfortunate event of the CFO jumping out the window there, which is never a great sign. But I don't want to talk about that because that's a very, very serious issue there. I just want to look at price action, and if we zoom in and out of Bed Bath & Beyond right now, we talked about supporting that $8 mark, which is right into here. It's basically done that. That's right where the 50 period is. Sure, we dipped down on that day that I'm talking about through 7, but it's really regained it back to the upside. I actually like Bed Bath & Beyond now for a long. The only real risk is that you wake up that one day and they're down here and you're unable to get out. So that, to me, that's a risk there, but I like the long. It's 4 straight up days ever since that unfortunate event. So I like it to the long side, but just because the market's going to close in about an hour, I'm going to sit here and really short this name until it breaks that 940, which is the day high that was made right there at 930. So give us something else here, Brendo.
Go, which is all G on the NASDAQ, ALLG, just taking out day highs here, up big time, 32%. This company makes charging stations for EVs over in the Netherlands. So apparently they presented at a conference last week some new technology, and today is the first day of trade since. So 580 just got taken out there for all G.
See you, all G. We'll add that. I'm going to add that one. I just added to my quote board, but I wanted to point something out because I am short right now in Fubo. It is played down or close enough to VWAP, so I do have most of it out. Fubo, and I'm just going to show you guys Flow Checker here. Great, it's a great resource, right? Because you get multiple estimates for shorts for company shorts, but you can always go here and just get a few of them at once. About 26 to 28% short at the float here in Fubo TV. So I'm not trying to think this is going to go too much further than VWAP. At this point, I don't even want to give it back to 5. It was a fail break at 5 even. I'll put a trail on this now. If it gets above like 487, 48, I'll just get out of it. Otherwise, I'm looking for one last push into VWAP here. And I got lucid into the long. That broke that 1650. Ended up getting slipped to 52. So I might have mispriced it by a penny. I should have got 51s there. Brendo?
Watch Coinbase here. Wall Street Journal reporting, guys, that Fidelity is weighing adding Bitcoin trading on their brokerage platform. So there was a spike there, downside for Coin.
Exactly. As soon as you said that, I was like, so that's a negative thing for Coinbase, of course. And wow, okay, so, okay. I was just going to look quickly. I will look at that. But Intel, for some reason, just fell off a cliff a little bit there. It was up to 50 and then just came back to 41 where we took a fill. So, yeah, I just took a 41 fill on that one. So we'll go... oh man, why am I on the marijuana page? We'll just go like that, woohoo! There, as money coming out today, or coming in, I guess, not flying out of that wheelbarrow. That's the problem. If you have a wheelbarrow, really, especially if it's full of cash, make sure that you have a lid on it because you don't want all that to be flying out, especially if the weather's not that great. So watch out for that. But that's I guess that's a first world problem. All right, moving on now. Meta kind of like putting me to sleep now. So let's go back over and quickly look at Oxy, if that's doing anything. So oil's closed now. We've talked about that a little bit. It's closed on the electronic side. The floor side. Now just trading on electronics. So 230, we close over there at the Merc. But you can see right now, big volume upside. Brendan's talked about oil closing and where we were up in that 1%, which is off of where we were earlier today, but not too far. Like you're going to be at 80, let's call it, well, it's whatever. Let's call it what it is. 87.75 right now. 89.1 was the high to the upside. So you're off a little bit there. I would say for me, this was kind of like, I don't know what happened with Oxy there. We've already talked about that. I feel like you can go long against 66.50 here. I just wonder about the catalyst. I'd rather just be long the market. If the market goes back up, then I think oil will drift with the market back to the upside. But with oil closed and everything, I don't really want to be into Oxy, but I think this is a good little spot for them for sure. And there's the news about Bitcoin. So we can go right over there. I mean, Brendan just talked about that. I don't think this spikes anything with Bitcoin or anything like that, but obviously the more brokerages, we've talked about Square, Neil looked at that earlier. I also looked at PayPal. It's so easy to buy Bitcoin right now. It's just a matter of time before Visa and MasterCard and all that adopt it, which I think is great for the underlying coin or any of the transfer money coins like a Ripple or Stellar, I can go on and on about Stellar Lumens, anything like that. Or we talked about Solana before, and Ethereum with the smart contracts and being able to build on them. There are other coins for transfer of payment, and I think that that's just going to be one of those things that you want to look forward to if you are a bull in the space. But it looks like Coinbase right now is starting to make a move. Nicely done to the downside there, as Brendan noted, and right now back upside. So I'm flat on Coinbase, and honestly, I don't want to do anything but short this. We've talked about that. So if it comes back up to this 84, 85 area there, I think that's worth a short. But right now the market is doing exactly what we thought it would, except for that was a decent move down. That kind of caught us by surprise. But for right now, the market's just kind of figuring out its ways. We are now above the 50 period. And yeah, that's why we adjusted some of our expectations here.
Yeah, exactly, which is what you have to do, right? Like at this time, you know, you got to pick relative strength, relative weakness, play out something that is moving. That's why I added that ALG, ALLG, LG to my list as I try to flip away from Carvana. Carvana, by the way, it just tried to get to that 42.50 for potential break and fail back in, but it wicked to 42 even, so there was a buyer there at 42. So I'm kind of resisting that pullback that I'm looking for into 41.5. It can still happen. It hasn't broken out the range yet, so good chance it could still reject that high, come back into 41.50, make the low there where I'd be much more interested in going long at that price. But ALG, I didn't pay for shorts on this because I'm kind of looking at the daily here saying, okay, you still got some room into this 6.5 on the way up. The volume not fantastic, but it's a pretty clean move in so far. And if it tries to hold 575, 580 on any kind of a dip, then you have a chance to run maybe to that 6.5. Going back over to, oh, there it is, AMC. AMC is starting to reject this 1020. It already rejected VWAP and 1020 once. It's getting back here a second time. It rejects it a second time. Then I'll accept the fact that, okay, it doesn't really want to go too far off 10. Pretty solid entry at 10, but this is not exactly screaming in. It's giving a nice win, but it's not following through the way that I would like to see it follow through, unfortunately. And then Lucid, which we just got into, it broke that 1650. It's still there. We're essentially going sideways. So for a breakout, probably needs a little more strength in the market right now. I'm actually looking for something in the EV space that I can play a short off of. I don't like Nio for that play, but I was just looking at Rivian. And Rivian got to 39 again, third time today, and is rolling over. So like that 39 break on Rivian, it just doesn't want to happen. And if it doesn't want to play off that price, it's given 38 multiple times for the long. I haven't shorted 39 once, and I could have had it like 3 times here. I'll go for it now. Obviously, it could be the case where Lucid breaks out, I hold on to that, and Rivian stops out 39. So very likely only one of these two can work, but risk to reward, they both set up.
I mean, I'm just trying to look for something that's relatively weak here. Like Neo's getting back to that level right now. I'm watching Meta. Meta's just still in the middle. I mean, we're down 20 cents on it, but we were also up 20 cents and I didn't take it. So this to me is just sort of par for the course when you're trying to make some trades. You know, you're going to have to wait for things to happen. And we're getting close to something happening on NIO. If you like that short, we've talked about this already. It's basically right here again, up to 22. So we got as high as 81. I was sort of thinking even a little bit higher on that one, but you could see it's been a nice, I think this one would be a scalp trade anyways. I don't think you're going to get a monster move one way or the other. I already sort of thought, now that it's 302 right now, that we would have been able to make a little bit of money here on some plays if we came back in. But for right now, the market's just kind of like doing nothing. I'm honestly, the one play that I'm debating pretty strongly is a long in AMD. So, you know, we've taken out some of this level. We've already made this downside move. You can see what the market's doing right now, nothing. But you can see what AMD is doing. It's just pushing the upper side. It's like pushing the envelope here to the upside. So, you know, that could be a break long. You're down 1.75% today. So, you know, if people are bullish, AMD and the semis have sort of led the market on the way down. It could lead it on the way back up, and I think that that's very possible. Obviously, with Apple being up 4% and whatnot, it's holding the indexes up. So this is a tricky trade. Either, damn it, man, I hate, like, I know we're on air here, and I'm trying to make a call here, but like I don't have conviction one way or the other about what this market wants to do.
Well, that's why,
and that's the problem.
The way I see it, it's like, okay, well, I'll take a break because Lucid's up 9%. So I'll take a break at the high because that's a relatively strong stock. And then something that's not breaking the high Rivian, I can short it off the level, that top there, because I'd rather just play off of a support or resistance level where I kind of know, okay, we break out from here, we're going to run. We don't break this, we're going to fall potentially down into VWAP. And that way, sort of hedge my bets, where I don't have to worry about, okay, you got to be dead right about where the market's going to go. If it stays inside, well, that also means that we're unlikely to break this resistance on Rivian. So I'm playing into this. I did just get out of Fubo. I told you guys the last of it. It did get to VWAP there, really close enough to it, 475. But I put the trail in. It was actually if it broke 87, it broke 87. Well, give it a couple pennies from 85, really, is what I was doing. And it just broke out. So this trend is still to the upside on Fubo. It was just that fail break at 5 even. If it gets to 5, I'll probably look at a breakout at $5. The current high is 501, so that'd be more like a 502 break, I guess, technically. So if it gets there, yeah, I'll look for a long in Fubo, up 10%, and room to go on the daily. It was just one of those that traps some people long, you pull back to VWAP, you take that trade and look for the next one. That'll be a potential $5. And yeah, I get it, and people are still talking about, everyone's putting the Pat McAfee thing in there.
Shoot, man, there's
on Fubo. So hopefully it goes through 5. That'd be a great opportunity. Nice even dollar level that it rejected once. If it sees it again, could go.
Like, I made the call of breaking AMD, probably going long on AMD. Now I look over and it's in the money 20 cents. But we just got out and we just took a long. So here's the out at 84, as we said we would do. So that's me covering the short there. So I mean, because we have to do this, and again, we'll do it. We haven't hit this yet today. But we're going to do it right now. So we'll take the money on AMD on that initial short position. But again, it's nothing. I mean, I'm really happy. AMD is my #1 stock today, so I'm pretty happy with it. But at the same time, I'm just thinking here, let's go. I hate to be long AMD and Meta at the same time, but they're not huge positions. And I want to say something actually pretty wise there, not just because it was the same thing that I was thinking, but when I was like, I don't really know where we want to go. What's up, Corey Waters? Stay long. I mean, I just pushed more long, so I agree with this. It was more Mr. John Spruill here talking about that just sit on your hands there. The funny thing is, look at what I read before. It
Don't
says
do
short.
that. Don't do that.
One guy goes short, and this one said sit. So I kind of mixed that up there. Don't do that on your hands, though. Use the proper toiletries and whatnot.
You know what? I'm not even gonna...
But the idea is, we have this thing here that I'll beat up there. This is the problem. Like when you're on your 5th hour of talking here, where is it? Where is it? Now I can't even find that beating up that. I got it right there. I got it. But anyways, I think that cash is a position, and I know Prad talks about that all the time. You don't need to be in something just because you think one way and you want to be in it. But I just think we have to stay strong and stay on on the side that you think is going to be a little more aggressive here into the close. And for me, now that AMD, and again, I'm just looking at the way the market trades. We talked about this last week. Luca talked about reading the tape and so on and so forth. And it's just down here. When I was talking about the long, should have just took it quickly there. You know what? Whatever, man. I'll take a dime there. Give me 18s. We'll take a dime there on that. So, flipped it to the long. We'll just sort of take a little bit out there. We'll do some of this because, we talked about the king and coronation and so on and so forth right there coming through. But there's a little quick scalp on AMD, and we're not ringing the registers or celebrating with it. It's nice that seems to be working out for us. We did get out, obviously, of that. Now, the only short we have left here is Intel, which we actually got pretty lucky by getting that 41. And then Meta dancing with the devil as well. That came pretty close to getting us out. But here we go, man. Maybe the long is what's going to be right into the close. So, hey, I'm here for the long, and I'm here for the short, but for right now, we'll hold AMD long, we'll hold Meta long, and watch out for that Nio, because if I'm going to switch my opinion up, then obviously I don't want that short into 22, but I still think that it's worth the shot. If Nio somehow can rip up here into the mid-80s, then I think you want to take a shot on the short, but hey, I'll hold the long, baby. There it is, 12 cents and pumping higher. Hey, money is money, and when you make those trades, that's what you're trying to go for here. Ooh, man pleads guilty. In first ever cryptocurrency insider trading case. First ever.
Because it never happened before.
Nah, because And I shouldn't say too many mean things because, you know, John McAfee has obviously passed away by his own doing, apparently. But that guy also, you want to talk about shilling. I mean, that guy, when cryptocurrency was hot, I mean, I know traders on the floor, and I was part of it. It's like, oh my God, McAfee just tweeted out shitcoin is going through the roof. And then everyone would buy it. And then, of course, he's sitting there selling to you, very similar to other people in our business as well.
He didn't kill himself. But
hey, you're the conspiracy guy. I'm trying to be the Brendan here and deliver the facts, which he did.
And you know this to be true. When we had our own trading floor years and years ago, that I look, man, I had a solid 6 to 12 months where, like, you know, you spend a little too much time looking at interesting things online, and I'm away from that now that I've gotten a little older, but I still don't think he killed himself. But Dominic Famularo, thank you there. He's like, member for 14 months. I see a hey,
Dominic is
Dominic is back. He said, what's up to us? And then how about some CLVS love? Well, I'll give it some love, but this was on the watch list this morning. Our free watch list, by the way. Clovis Oncology was all over that bad boy. So thank you, Dominic. Thank you, Brendan, for putting this on the list. Look, it gets on the daily chart. You can see why it's had a bit of a top here at the 160. Obviously, 180 is going to be a bit of trouble there. They had like the sharply high. They partnered with BMY, with Bristol Myers up there. And you'll see like it got to that level on the daily, rejected it once, pulled right back in, and then holds this nice little breakout area at 144. So this is where it broke out on volume when we're in the meeting at 1 o'clock. And then it holds that same level. You love that setup, right? Like, I love when that happens. Wish I was here to go long, but doesn't mean it's done yet. I'm looking for take out that top on that daily, that 160, or give me that long off that VWAP there. But volume tapering, I don't want to diddle in the middle with this. It has to take out that high. Speaking of taking out the high, Lucid did break 1650. It just got to 60s. I took some out at 60s. If this works, it's very likely Rivian's going to stop out at 39. I have that one short in front of 39 even. So one of these is going to work to the upside, get a couple of legs and hold. Well, Rivian would be to the downside, and then try to hold out and give a little bit more room once we have it going in the money. But don't expect both Lucid and Rivian. It's not unless we go inside for the rest of the day. It's unlikely both those trades would work. But if we do get a break to the upside, I want to try to hold on to some of these for higher levels on Lucid, and then the same play in Rivian. Essentially, this one is not getting the break off of that high at 39 even. So it's trying to break this level. It can't do it. Took a piece when it broke down. It then put in this higher low as well. So I just jumped into a few more shares there to even it up. And then we'll play this to VWAP if it can even get there. Lucid still has a chance to break out that high of the day, though. Rivian still has a chance to break out that 39, which Lucid's already done.
And it's a banger alert right there, because there goes AMD, man. We switched over from short to long. We talked about that right here at 84. So we got out, which was a $1.50 winner from the short. And then now right here, you're pumping through VWAP. I might just close this trade. People asking me, where's my out? I mean, we just came right up to it here, 84.50. We could just close that, take basically our 50 cents if it comes up to there. That's going to be a decent level. The only problem with taking profits is, what if the run does happen? I mean, I already took that 10 cents, which seems silly now that move happened in front of VWAP. But right now, that's volume weighted average price. But for AMD, I still think you could take that out and then just continue to climb, especially if this market gets going again. You're not too far away from breaking the high of the market again. That 12.84. We talked about the sort of the stop and go here on the NASDAQ. And again, thanks everybody in the chat there. I'm glad you were able to make money with me there on AMD for sure. But, you're running into this 12.9, right? So that high right there is 12.8, 12.850. This little area of support and resistance right here. And by the way, Arun is back next week, so we'll get some more futures updates starting hopefully next Monday. I'll double check the calendar. I don't want to put him on blast for a specific date, but I believe he's here for Monday. I checked. I just don't know when it says he's on. I just don't know. Yeah. Like maybe he lands Sunday night. I don't know the situation, but hopefully back next week.
He can throw the shirt on and.
Yeah, it'll be Arun at some point. Yeah, hopefully he didn't take his polka dot shirt there to wherever he went. Portugal, Spain, and Italy, I believe he was sort of making the rounds there. It'd be interesting. He should have maybe stopped over and seen Brendo in Greece as well. But okay, so 12,900 right there. Anyways, long story short, bumping up against there. So if you did want to take some profit, I'm not sure we run. And look, if any of these longs, if the NASDAQ even considers going to 12,900 right now, then we're going to cash out a hell of a lot on some of these positions. And not that I think that's what's going to happen, but there's AMD for those of you asking for an out. If you want to play conservative and you think that, you don't want to hold anything into the close, then I think this 84.40, 84.50, so we're right there right now. If you haven't got any out, which I already have, I would think to take something out right now, put that profit into your pocket. I might just do the same thing, honestly, man. Like this NASDAQ name here of Meta has really stopped every single time we've got to 80 again. We're long at 56. The long should be 50 right there on that break, but we held this against us 30 cents. So that's why it's even though a 20-cent win, I might just take it. I mean, I'm sitting in the 90s. Here it comes. All right, let's just, maybe we'll take out a piece. Yeah, we'll throw it to Brendan. I'm going to take a piece out on Meta and throw it to Brendan right now and see what he's got.
Just looking at Zoom, saw Zoom pop up on some volume. There's a note on Zoom earlier this morning, in fact. They added new features specifically targeting teams. So new features for Zoom to specifically target teams. Just taking out this level right now, 83.84 for ZM, up 1.5%.
Well, they got to do something, right? I mean, they're facing
Zoom?
competition. Yeah. No,
I think they get bought out, but I don't know.
Well,
I don't know when or where.
It could
happen.
happen.
The same at Peloton, and the thing went to $8.
Speaking of actually, okay, I'm gonna get to Peloton in a quick second because we got to talk about them. $11 Peloton's at. It's I saw 10.97. It just got to. That 11 break could be interesting on Peloton.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at Carvana. Just got to 42.48. So that 42.50 break could happen. Remember, I wanted the dip buy. That's kind of comical. I wanted the dip buy at 41.5. I was probably a little too literal with that. It got to 41.61 and is now back at that high. But the breakout could be in play as well. I just got a piece. So Rivian just pulled back. So I got a piece out of that. I'm working Rivian short, Lucid long. We'll see which one wants to go. But Peloton, as we say it, whoops, I hit enter without changing
Sometimes
it from
all
New
you
York
have to do is say it.
Yeah, it's I was just looking at this. 10.97, current high of the day. It's up 6%. You have it break in the 50 period on the daily here, so it's in the midst of a bit of a mini breakout. Nice little round number. The only downside to this break is its volume. It did volume right at the open, and then the volume's essentially been barcoding, which that's disappointing for a break, especially with the market not taking out highs, but that's a pretty solid level. There's not a bunch of size on the offer either, so that can work in the favor here of Peloton. But Carvana, the reason why I like the CVNA. The reason I like the Carvana a little bit more than I would like the Lucid break is the short interest is huge on Carvana, right? You got the big short interest on this. It's already shown you that when it rejected this price, it just came right back to it after just absolutely tanking with the market and now wants to try to go back through. So same sort of thing. It's breaking on the daily as well. But, the short interest gives this one extra juice. And it's already shown me, after rejecting this level, it just wanted to climb right back to it, just being drawn in by gravity. It just pulled back again, but if it puts in a higher low, I'll like it just that much more.
We rolled the dice with Meta. We did take out a third right there. We took some out at 80 on Meta. And I just sort of used the logic I'm long AMD. That's bouncing up against here. So, and then Meta, long Meta, that's bouncing up against basically wow, it's a good thing I took it out. Bouncing up against the levels and took out sort of that 75 there, went up as high as basically where we got out. Looks like it went up as high as 84. We got run over a little bit at 81. Not a little bit, but that's why we collect the fees. We talked about that. But that has nothing to do. Mexico to discuss tortilla prices. Here we go. Right over to CMG right now. Let's see what's going to happen with Chipotle. Obviously, all jokes aside, I mean, that would be a play on wheat or anything like that coming through as well. Just on the supply side. Chipotle is not really a tradable stock, as you can see, as that goes back and forth here. This is almost like a buyout.
So
but, I don't know. Anyways,
Did they talk split yet?
Chipotle?
Who was it then? It was. There was
one. Well, we had Shopify, we had Nvidia, we had Tesla.
I felt
recently
like
split again.
Someone still.
I thought something else maybe was going to go 3 or 4 for 1. What is it? It's not Chipotle, but that would make a lot of. It might be Chipotle. That would be a lot of sense.
Why, yeah, because why
I'm
wouldn't
looking
they
up
at
to
this
the
point?
chat here to see if they know. But all right, they want to talk about Megel quickly. MEGL.
Really? Megel?
That's another name. That's Magic Empire. I almost said Magic Mushroom. Magic Empire trying to go probably again. Yeah. Wow. Okay, Megel.
Whoa.
So this one is a share structure problem, as far as I remember. A lower float on this. Let's just double check it for everybody out here as well. MEGL. I just said that tortilla thing. I mean, the guys behind me laughed. I hope at least some of you guys at home laughed as well. That's part of the reason why I'm here. 7 million. So yeah, this is a low float name right now. The short is not going to be accurate on this, but it is a low float name. So Megel, Magic Empire there, trying to go back up to the upside. This is one of those new names that flew up to, again, I was going to say 50, but add a 2 on that, 250. This name went up from, so it IPO'd at 50, ripped up to 250. This is according to our chart, so don't get upset if this is not the truth. But right now we are trying to take it out a little bit. As you can see the last, see if I can zoom in just one little bit more here. Yeah, it looks like, I mean, that right here, again, you remember when candles, these are open and close on the day. So this, these days, these are not, although it looks fine, these are lower lows there, so you got to look to see, where is it that we open and sort of had some volume, a little bit of light volume on these days, but, you could rip up. I mean, that right there, open and close one day at 650. So if you're long Megel, that little level right there is 650. If you level it down, we're already past that $6 level. So maybe look for some resistance at 650, but hey, you know what can happen with these stocks, man. When they get going, they get going. So congratulations, anybody that was able to grab some of these bottoms. You can see volume just picking up here in Megel over the last 20 minutes or so. Nice little move to the upside. And until I hear about news, I'm going to assume that this is a share structure problem.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe. Well, I mean, look, we could get other news that comes out of it. I'm going to drop it for Rivian as somehow these could both work out because the market's going inside. So Rivian just pulled back in here about 20 pennies or so off that 39, took a couple of legs out, going to hold some down for 38.5. All of this while Lucid, at least for now, Lucid tries to maintain that break. So I've only gotten one leg out, but it's still holding these highs at the current time. And thank you in the chat. It's Palo Alto. They're doing the split.
Pan W.
Yeah, Pan W. It's look, another logical name that people have been looking at. It's like, oh yeah.
What is that split?
There'd be more
is
interest.
that the 3 for 1? Did they say what it was?
I'd have to double check because I don't remember the date even. I thought it was up. I thought it was coming soon. I thought it was in September, but I'll have to double check to be sure. I don't want to say it, then I'm dead wrong. It's just
halfway.
We can jump in. I could probably just Google it, but I wanted to look at Megel. Megel.
It's 3 for 1.
It's super cheap to short Megel. 50. It's like half a cent per share. Which,
what?
Yeah. Which like that's
so it's not going to be a short flow problem like we said if we're able to get it from our broker.
But
at
that's
next
weird.
To nothing.
I was expecting based on this
that's
stock
probably a mistake. It's probably going to be $50 tomorrow.
I'm expecting that's going to jump up. It seems really cheap to short, but it also means at times that can get
bank error in your favor.
But if it goes parabolic and it's really cheap for day traders to short it, sometimes that means there's more day traders to get run over because they're like, ooh, it fails $6. I'm shorting it back into 5, and then the opposite happens. So I paid for the shorts because they're just so cheap. But when it's that cheap this late in the day, I don't love it unless it's at a really big, obvious level, which I think you already sort of pointed out, like where it could get to. On the daily, it could be like $8, or it could be, I don't mind
shorting into that 650 than getting out if it breaks 650.
Well, you could do that.
That was the high today.
I just like that better if it's not a super crowded trade. I just feel like there could be a lot of people looking at that very cheaply. Half a cent per share to short for this stock seems really cheap.
Yep, that's a monopoly bank error in your favor, as people talking on the chat there, and that's why we bring that up. Yeah, okay, so, all right. The NASDAQ doing the same stuff here. I mean, I'm not going to try to, beat a dead horse about like going long versus going short. I don't expect a big, huge move to come at the close. We do still have the imbalance locator, and if you're watching us for the first time, thank you so much. Please make sure you hit the like button. We get about 100,000 views a day across all of our platforms, of which the major one's YouTube. I'm adding like you know, some of those shorts that we do. Make sure you join us every single day. We put out Instagram. We all have Twitter, stuff like that. Make sure you follow us all on social media. And there it is right there. When I asked earlier, guys, we were at 400 or 500. Thank you so much. 1.1K. 400 more, and we're on tomorrow at 8:25, which I think is going to be pretty cool, man. Tomorrow, 8:25, we'll talk about CPI. If you have any misunderstandings about it, the expected is going to be 8.1. I think it comes lower, and the market absolutely rips tomorrow. But again, what I was getting at also was that Neil and I are flat at the end of every day. We trade on a prop floor, so we trade firm capital. So if there's any sort of holding overnight, we don't recommend doing that, nor would I do that heading into tomorrow. That's for damn sure. When you have a big major market event like that, unless, I mean, I don't even know if Insider, like if you somehow got a whisper number, A, I don't know where that would come from, and B, I'm not sure you know, like, what if it comes out, like I said, 7.7? Is that better? It's better for the CPI, but that might not be better for the temporary short-term play on the market, because maybe then interest rates get raised a little bit faster. Maybe then we start talking about deflation instead of inflation, and then we have to start questioning Fed is late again, you know? So there's gonna be a lot of rhetoric being thrown around. I'm just excited for the number and to see the action. I'll be trading the TQQ tomorrow, so I'll be going long or short, the triple NASDAQ, one way or the other when that number comes out. So that should be a little bit of fire. I don't want to say I'll be long or short, but we'll be on that name. That's one that I've traded in the past. And then, you know, we'll both look at everything. The spiders, which is SPY. We'll look at the ES as well, not just the NASDAQ. But
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I didn't mean to say that in case people are like,
well,
oil could move, Bitcoin.
It could be.
This is going to be a major event. Like
I expect the crypto to move quite a bit.
I think crypto is going to be huge. And
by the way,
I'll leave the crypto news for later.
And the other thing too is like when it comes to even if you have it in, like if you somehow you did know what the number was going to come out, how did that work out for Randolph and Mortimer? Not too well, man.
No, well, you got to understand your environments.
Those orange juice futures are unforgiving. That's all.
Yeah, when you have like hurricanes and tornadoes and stuff down there in Florida, you got to watch out for your orange juice futures.
And I have no idea what I'm talking about.
You know, that's what that is right there. So we're gonna wait to that. Obviously, watch Trading Places if you get a chance to do that.
See, it should have just shorted the stock. Whatever.
We talked about Megal at 650. I mean, there it is.
There was a chance, but you had to get it when it was up here at 620, 625. I don't know about.
It was right when we talked about it, but we didn't have the shorts.
I did just pay for it, but I'm not chasing this. It's already come down off that level. There's no need to chase that price. I'm just canceling my orders here. You had to get it here, like 615, 620. You know, now that it's come down, if it comes back to that price, then I don't think
it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know if I want it at that point.
You got to watch out for the break.
Coming for the third time. Now it could break the high, and you got to work into something else there. AMC is starting to go finally. It just broke VWAP, heading towards this top here with about 25 minutes of imbalances. I'm looking for 35, 40, somewhere in this range. That lower high from the morning. That's what I'd like to see on AMC if you can get going to the upside. Carvana, this is ridiculous. I kept thinking it's about to break. 1, 2, now 3 times it's tested 42.5. And 3 times it's rejected it. I'm sitting here waiting for it to break that high to go long, when really the only trade I had off this level was shorting it this morning. Maybe I should just be going back to that. Well, if it doesn't break the high, well, I mean, it's got to come. Well, it doesn't have to come down, but maybe the risk reward is jumping into the short. I'd be risking about 30 cents to short it here. So, and I paid for Carvana shorts. So I might as well be going ahead and trying to use them in Carvana. And again, you don't have to do this, but I'm waiting for the breakout. 1, 2, how many times are you going to fail this and then pull back and give a little bit of a win in here? I can take some out in front of 42. I can play it down to 41.5 where I like to dip by before. And if it takes out the top, then you're risking 25 pennies plus a little bit of slippage. So I'm going to jump in the Carvana short here. If we're not going to break out of the range, we'll play it inside of the range.
All right, so, you're going to see me. I'm going to hit that because we are now out 825. We got out of Intel. I was like so close to, out of AMD. I was so close to holding on to that, but like that dude who faced Nate Diaz, I tapped out right there on that play. And so did the other guy, the guy that fought, it was Holland that actually fought that Kazmat guy, whatever.
That'd be a better fight than
that
Adrian
was tapped
Peterson.
out in 1 minute. Yeah, Adrian Peterson and versus Lev Bell, was it? Weren't they facing each other?
Yeah.
Two old
Michigan State, baby.
Michigan State there, yeah, exactly. Coming through with Le'Veon Bell there. But anyways, I just see this talk about CPI. Obviously, I know about it. We all do. And I just, we missed the opportunity to get out. Whether or not it comes back upside there, I'll sacrifice like 15 cents just to get out of AMD and then just to hold on to Meta. I think Meta will go, if this market does want to take out the top, obviously my AMD out's going to look bad, but AMD is my #1 stock today. I have 0 LFT. What that means is that, as I close these trades, I'm at the highest spot I've been at all day for my net, right? So that's always a good sign when that can happen at 3:30, so I'll do that right now. And, part of that reason is, Intel's still right here. We're still short on Intel, so if the market does fall, we got the Intel short on board, and if the market, which I'm more comfortable with, than this long on Meta. So we've already taken 25 cents there on Meta. We talked about that at 81. That's exactly 26 cents out there. And if it drops back down, we're going to get out on a 168 break. So that'll be 50 cents there. So, I'm pretty happy with the risk to reward on this play. I'm not convicted one way or the other. And I feel like, having cash on hand right now, that's a pretty good position. So as the cash is falling into us early this morning, we're going to try to keep a lot of that in our pocket here heading into the close and just get excited for tomorrow. We've done our work. We know some key levels and we know what we're looking for. So, hey, tomorrow's another day and we're going to hold on to these positions that we have right now. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out. Unless Brendan gives us a banger. What's up?
Man U, more buyout rumors floating around on the interwebs this afternoon, apparently. 5% right now. There's more volume that came in. This was earlier. It took out the high on a volume spike. I think it was this day when Elon was going to buy Man U, but then said, no, that was a joke. So apparently more interest in Man U, guys.
Yeah, I want to say they report on Friday.
Funding secured?
I know. He probably shouldn't. I don't know.
Joker, that guy.
You probably certain things like when you actually do buy companies, and that's something that you do when you're currently buying one. Joking about that, to each their own. It's fun, but certainly, Man U, big level here. Friday is when they report. Last I checked, but it needs to chew through this level on better volume than what I'm seeing here to get through. I always think when you have a news event and a rumor coming through, there could be some profit takers on the end of something like that. So I want to see it hold above 15. Maybe this is a play for tomorrow. If it's above that price and holding above for a potential breakout. Of course, I'm sitting there waiting around for Carvana to go to the upside and make that breakout. So I jump into the short, it looked good for a minute, and now it could make that break. I do still like the break to the upside on Carvana. Hasn't gotten through that high of the day just yet. And Rivian's still working to that downside. I did want to jump back over because I didn't want to ignore Megal just because I didn't get into it. But it does look like it's put one red candle in on the 3-minute here. That was probably your shot at a quick little short that didn't even follow through into VWAP. And at this point, it looks like it has a chance to still go through that upside. So I'd be waiting for 650 here. I wouldn't be jumping into this. I mean, you could short it off that same level. I think you're giving it the risk to reward when it's slowed down. I don't love that. It's now slowed down. You're not getting that whipsaw snap action that'll get you in and out for a quick winner. I think you're just sort of sitting there waiting for something to happen. I'll let it happen and then react to it. If it tries to fail that high of the day, I can jump to a short off that high. If it breaks out 650, you can try a long off that breakout. And then because I got to keep tabs on it, if I'm going to be in these EV names, I got to watch out here because Lucid, it's weird. Lucid's in the money long, Rivian's in the money short. That's because we're playing off key levels. Nio is just holding the high of the day as we speak. I mean, it's not going either direction. Neil's been doing this lately, by the way. It just does not move in the afternoons for whatever reason. Were it to break out, then obviously I think the Lucid's going to be a bit better than that Rivian side. And then Tesla is the other EV name, sort of worth monitoring. And look at this, it's just holding, sitting at that high of the day. Either one of these bad boys break out, and it's just get the heck out of Dodge on the Rivian short and manage to hold on to some Lucid because these can definitely start to go here. But the market sideways for now, tiny small sell imbalance, probably not going to mean anything come 350.
All right. In a rather shocking turn of events, I got some out on Meta for flat. So there you go. So nothing to report here, actually. So that was not a shocking event, but it's just we got out for flat. I took 25 cents. I took another third out right there for flat. So I'm just not convinced either way here where the market's going to go. So I don't think it's really smart. And again, this is part of education, right? I mean, we try to educate, entertain, inform you. And I think we're doing sort of everything right now in one. And it's just, for me right now, the risk is just not there to lose anything. So we'll take another shot. I sort of like the long. We're up 1%. I don't mind holding that into the close. But again, just on this action in the NASDAQ, especially the last 20 minutes, look, I wish there was more exciting things happening. This morning was a many great trades happening this morning, obviously including, I mean, look at this Apple long. We had Apple long 160, got it out for $1.50 and was happy with that. You could see how much higher it is right now. That was an early trade. You wanted to see some action? Come here tomorrow. Look at this. This is today, this morning. Look, we hold AMD against us. Then it blasts up. Then we hit the short. Then we cash out on that, right? Then we just go long AMD right now, and you just heard that story. Amazon from the morning, same kind of a play. Look at this, 939, right? And just like we're talking now, I talk like this when we're taking the trades early. Where our outs are, why we like them, boom to the upside. This is a $2 win on Amazon, right? Just cashed out the last little piece as we came on the air. So that's another trade. Coinbase, we talked about that. That's actually on the sticky note. So again, not only on the sticky note, and we talked about this in the meeting about, you know, our position showing up. I actually write on here, like today I wrote AMD L, Coinbase SS. I don't have to have Pratt ask me what SS means because he's not here. Nubank with an L beside it. Long, Nio, long. Like they're all here with ideas and prices, right? So, I mean, Nio long at 20, that was cash. We also hit the Google long here. This was in and then out. This was really quick. We actually hit the long, and then once it broke back 110, we got out. That obviously turns out to be wrong, but there's it is again. So yeah, a couple different plays there happening early. And when we got out of AMD, I just want to let everybody know, we got out of AMD at the same time that we took another piece out on Intel. So as we got out of AMD long, we also got more out of our Intel short as that's starting to go back up to the upside. And of course, me getting out, I guess Meta at 50 for flat is now not going to look good as well, but that's fine because now we'll hopefully hold this for the long side. As look what the NASDAQ just did. What a surprise. It went up and then came right back to right where it was when that 1 minute candle started. So yeah, a couple back and forths here. I'm happy with my cash position right now.
Straight cash, homie, said Randy Moss. Said Randy Moss, one of the greatest
Pay the man.
wide receivers of all time. He was unbelievable.
Chris Carter as well.
Wow, what a duo they had. Jake Reed was on there too. The Vikings were a lot of fun.
Dante Culpepper.
I don't want to, so remember when one of the first years in our football league.
He was a fantasy monster.
I remember, he was a fantasy monster. He was my QB in like the second year of our pool.
Did he get hurt?
And he got hurt, and then I needed a QB, so I traded for Donovan McNabb. I traded my tiki barb or whatever it was. But that was the year McNabb, he got hurt later in the season
or
too.
Something that year?
Yeah, I got double burned that year and ended up being I don't know if I was the Butler. I was maybe I was second last, but it was.
You have
close
to have
enough.
love for T.O. I mean, the guy finished it off in Buffalo.
No, it was just a rough season because Culpepper was a monster, man. And with both the QB ones that got hurt that year, it was just a god-awful year. I got mossed, man. But I did get Megal. Megal. It did break that high of the day. Didn't get through 650, so you had a wick top. Jumped in, said let it make a run at the high before getting in. Don't short it down here. Grab 27s. I just got some out in front of 610. I want to get some more in front of 6 because there's a buyer at 6 now, and then see if we can play it into VWAP. Carvana's starting to pull back in, so I guess that doesn't want to go just yet. It's back to close to even. It doesn't want to make that breakout on CVNA as the market is starting to come back down. AMC, I'm not worried about AMC, but I'm going to put a trail on this. It is just slow churn to the upside, unfortunately, here on AMC. I don't want this breaking back below VWAP. No way. If the market rolls over, I'll just take this out. If it doesn't want to go more than 10 1/4, then I'll just have to accept that fate. So I'm going to drop a trail just below 10.20 and then just say, we'll walk away from this one and kind of figure out that $10 good level to buy, it looks like. But the follow-through leaves a lot to be desired here on AMC, unfortunately. Not much you can do about it, but we can ring the register, as I said, on Megal. And we'll shout out Brennan for, well, actually, no, I want to shout out the chat for bringing this one to us. Megal, the chat, all over this one. So sometimes that's what it's all about. You can't catch everything, but if you got a big enough community, and Brendo, then you can catch just about everything in the market. It just went down to 6 even. I'll adjust my stop, make sure if it breaks the high of the day, I don't want to adjust it. I don't want to go accidentally long here. But a last out's going to be down around 580 if we can catch it. And again, just failed break high. Take the short, scalp it into VWAP, hopefully first to $6 and into VWAP. Megal going to work here. Unfortunately, just not a heck of a lot happening when it comes to Lucid and Rivian. Was able to make Rivian 10 cents at a time, and then Lucid's gone 10 pennies in the money and is basically back to flat. So So that breakout, not doing a heck of a lot. At this point, this late in the day, I don't even need it breaking too far past break even. I'll just give it up. The volume's tapering off here on Lucid. No need to fight this.
Nope, I would agree on all of that. I mean, that's why I'm literally not trying to fight anything right now, except for my own emotions to get back into the stock market here. But I think it's 336, man. We're gonna have the imbalances come out soon, and of course, what those are the closing imbalances coming out in about 10 minutes. Well, approximately 350, at exactly 350, which is approximately 10 minutes away. I'll do the countdown for everybody here. It's 337, 12, 13. 14 in lovely Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I've been doing that a little bit lately, the last little while, because people were asking us how far delayed and if there's some sort of a buffer. We obviously don't buffer anything. It's YouTube that, sometimes
5 to 10 seconds
internet,
at worst.
yeah, some people say 5, 7. I've seen a lot as it, but right now it's 337. If you could put it in the chat, maybe where you're from and then what it's like. But it's 337, 40. 41, so on and so forth. But all right, so NASDAQ dancing here, Intel trying to do its own thing, Meta doing its own thing as well. Let's just check back in on Nio, because that was a name that I was talking about possibly shorting, and it just never really got up to the levels where you would short it as an ultimate short. But, it's kind of struggling at the top now, just barcoding again. This is not going to stop anybody out, but how do you really make money here? Like if you guys are saying, get into something, and no one's saying that, but it's like when nothing's moving, we already talked about, I loved Nio down here this morning at 20 bucks. We talked about that when I was writing the sticky note right here. It was sub 20, and then at 9 o'clock it broke and sort of barcoded. So, I mean, realistically, I could have taken this 2015, which would have blasted it to the long side, but look where we are now on this name, 22 bucks. So a monster move up. I was not expecting this much, but we did talk about liking Nio earlier. So this is a name that's going to be on radar for tomorrow one more time again. That's going to be NIO. And we're just looking for more names here. I mean, one name that we didn't talk about at all, that when Luca was here, he and I were trading this quite frequently, and Neil and I will trade this as well. But Tesla, I mean, that's another one here that broke through 300 this morning and never looked back. I mean, actually, I guess I was looking at it. It was, so remember on Friday, me and Luca were just sitting here like trying to figure out what was going on, because there was an unlimited seller of what we thought anyways that kept absorbing all of this, and then eventually it didn't even break. And then, today we kind of are over 300, comes back down, respects that. It only goes as low. I mean, I see a wick down here of 335 cents, but either way, man, just comes to 300, and then basically just, I don't know what it was doing in the morning. I feel like that's probably a bad quote, but a nice little move up to 305. And then you want to talk about something barcoding. I mean, this is like, honestly, I want someone to find me right now, at me on Twitter or whatever. When's the last time Tesla was in a $4 range all day? And I'm not talking about when Tesla was $10 stock. Like this is literally a 305. I guess it's a $5 range, but that is 301. This is 305. So that's a $4 range all day on Tesla. And, even from Friday, some of the moves, that's 291 up to 300. At least it's a $10 range. But today, Tesla's really hold my beer here and not much happening. So when you see this kind of action in the market, I do think it's diligent to not get too excited and sit there and make a bunch of trades. So that's what I'm doing right now. There's Tesla for a quick little look. Again, if the market tanks here, I think you could take 300 short. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, what are the chances of that happening right now? I'd say slim. Yeah, tomorrow for sure. Tomorrow, everything that we're talking about right now is out the window, because there will be action tomorrow and there will be price movement, and it's going to start at 8:30, which is why 8:25 is when we're back on, baby.
Exactly. Someone just mentioning Uber is trying to go, but it's just like at this point, like you're trying to make things break out. Well, not trying to make things break out, but you're trying to look for things to break out. And even this just put a bit of a wick top. It's only up 2%, but 32.5 break, goes 5 pennies, you're right back to even. That looks almost exactly like what's happening in Lucid. Like it's not like it's not doing anything. It goes up a little bit and gives you a bit of a win, but it just can't follow through, and that's sort of the problem. And that's why every single trade looks very similar. Carvana, it just got into 42, took some out there. I'm going to have to get some more out if it gets through 42 at 41.75 or so. Just looking for that follow through to the downside. And if it goes inside the range, then you got to be able to play it, like we said, sort of over and over again. There's no getting away from that. It was all G. That's the one that Brendan brought to us. Whoops, that's on the New York. All G was one that Brendan brought to us. Again, another name that I was looking to see if it could take out that high. You're starting to get the volume's just dying on this now. So, if it could have taken out $6, that looked pretty interesting, but the volume tapering off. It's now 342. I'm not taking that breakout anymore. Fubo, which looked like it was going to, for all the world, looked like it had a shot to get back up toward that high at $5. I'm canceling my breakout on this because, the short off 5 worked. It played the VWAP. I trailed out of the last of it and then was looking for a breakout long. That's out of the cards now. I can always look at that tomorrow. Certainly that could be in play, Fubo at $5 tomorrow, but that trade looks like it's going to be dead for now. There was one trade, it was the short back into VWAP. You could have had a small long, I suppose, off 475, but that's now fallen back asleep.
What's up, Loopy? He says, imagine inflation prints higher and the market goes up. I don't have to imagine that. I can easily see that.
It's happened.
That's why it's the best thing to do is just judge, the way the market's moving there and use it to your advantage on that side of things. It looks like there goes AMD. So anybody that held it, there it is, man. We flipped over from our short into our long. Unfortunately, we got out in the middle, and there it is, taking out the high. At least, look, I'm going to be bang on that one, man, because there it is. That was the call for AMD. I just didn't want to hold it. At least we sort of structured the long for you, but not a winner for me. So, well, it's a winner for me. We went long at 84, but we got out here in the mid-20s. We've talked about that 25, which sucks, but there it is blowing to the upside right now. I see you, Steve G, and I see a lot of you other guys out there. Look, Vero hit 16. I just saw that as well. I'm not losing anything on this Intel trade. Intel's a very positive name for me today. We got lucky to get out there at 41 and then again at 44. Now that it's going to take it out, we're going to get out right now for a flat trade on a 55 break, and that's the end of that one for Intel. So I know we're back to 2017 levels on Intel. Whatever. I mean, that doesn't, honestly, the levels that these stocks are at, these aren't swing positions. I'm not doing anything with them. I'm just getting in and out, and there it is right there, actually. So we'll go, oh my God. Good calls on that one. I was watching what everyone was saying. I literally got out. All these outs were out. This was a big spot for me to get out, and I hopefully was able to sort of, push that forward to you, so you saw that. And then there's the out again on Meta. One little out there for flat, which was bad, but here it comes right back up to the upside. So the favor long is going to work. We could take Meta out right now for 25 cents. We're up on Meta today. Look, a cup of coffee there. It looks like a cup of coffee here. But if Meta goes, I like this one for the swing long. Every day, it just has so much upside that even today, we're not even green yet. We're going to go probably green on Meta to close the day, and when we do, that means we take out this 169 and go a little higher than that. So we're going to wait to see what happens here with Meta, but yes, sir, there it is. Yeah, we'll go bang on that again because that's a nice little 40-cent winner right now for us on Meta. So yeah, making money, man. Like I said, as we close out the show here, I'll be at my highest spot, and I hope you guys are as well, despite getting out of AMD there way too early, but happy that we at least held on to some Meta.
Yeah, exactly. And look, it's now 3:45, so it's getting late. Anybody, if you're tuning in for the first time, do have to be out by the end of the day. And we're not really breaking in either direction in this range, so if we're not going to break out, I'm going to have to get out some more of this Carvana in front of 42 instead of breaking through 42 to the downside, unfortunately. So it never took out that high. At this point, I wouldn't reverse the trade into a long anyways. Just going to have to get the you-know-what out of Dodge. Same thing with Lucid. At this point, whoops, Lucid's on the NASDAQ, man. At this point, Lucid going nowhere. I do have my stop set just below that 50. I'm going to tighten it right into 50. At this point, it's not even moving off that 50 level, so I'm going to go right to that 50 level just to move the stop. And yeah, the last one I want to get to is that Megal. We'll get a little bit tighter to the bid there on MEGL as well. It doesn't feel like it doesn't want to fall apart here. So I'll just take it. If I can get this 595 area here, just sort of sitting beneath 6 and close enough to VWAP, we got the entry point. It failed. It did a fail the high of the day and then pulled back in. I think this one could be in play tomorrow. That is awfully cheap. Half a cent for shorts. If this one holds, if it holds VWAP here and we come back in tomorrow and it's above $6, I'm inclined to think that that could get really spicy, and I got to have this one on the radar. I'll write this one down. If it falls all the way back into like 530 and it gaps all the way back overnight, then I can write it off. But if it opens up and we're trading at or around that $6, that gets pretty interesting. But it's that high of the day fail break that I like every single time. Play it back into VWAP's going to end up working out here for Meta. And then, of course, AMC. It was good off 10. It just wasn't great. I thought we could get to like 1040, put my trail in if it broke VWAP. Now it looks like it wants to fail at 1025. I'm just going to take 1025 if we can get it here. The quarters are pretty good. Thought we could extend just a little bit more here on AMC. Good trade. Could have been great if it followed APE. Brendo?
Bank of America's CEO making some comment right now at a conference, it would appear, talking very positively about the strength of the consumer still there, some lending positivity. So not necessarily affecting the individual stock very much, but could be part of the reason we're seeing a little bit of an uptick here on the overall market. Again, it's Bank of America's CEO talking about some underlying signs, at least, of some strength in the overall market.
Yeah. I mean, we keep saying that there's some money on the sidelines, and I believe that to be true. I mean, someone else saying there in the chat, yeah, tomorrow is going to be spicy. What's up, ASMR Patrick there? And then someone else said that maybe somebody as KFC manager, hey, what's up, man? Hook me up there with a nice chicken sandwich, man. All right, we were talking about KFC versus Popeyes there. Okay, so that's Yum Brands, of course. That's not what I want to talk about. Apple is what KFC manager there was talking about. That's funny. Good name there. If you are a manager, what's up, my man? Yeah, so right there. Yeah, does somebody know something maybe heading into tomorrow? Why is Apple up 4% today? Come over here there, Fahad. Fahad's just looking up to see when the next Like Mike is out with little Bow Wow there coming out, Like Mike 3. Was that what that was called, Like Mike?
I don't even know, man.
I don't know. He knows.
Is that what
Fahad
it is?
knows. I don't know. He's looking it up.
Terrible movie.
But right now here, why is Apple up 4%? Like I probably missed something. They're upgraded or downgraded every day, but like this is way outside of the market right now, right? So Apple being like this far against the market, I don't know. Like I don't want to put on the tinfoil hat there again, but like, okay, Apple up 4% is just regardless of whatever. I mean, Brendan's going to come with something here, and I want to hear what it is, but like. This is a big-time movement upside there for Apple today. So, and I know it's breaking above 160. Maybe that's the technical level there. But with only 1 minute to the imbalances, let's go hear with Brendan on this story.
It wasn't anything major, but they were talking earlier, guys, about there's a few analysts talking earlier about iPhone 14 pre-sales that were already way better than expected. So that was part of the reason, anyways, for the rally, it would appear today.
So our buddy speaking about phones, our buddy in Dallas was just like, look, man, you're getting a new phone. I'm like, no, it's not happening. My wife is even like, you're getting a new phone. And my daughter is already like, she's already eyeballing being able to play with my old one. So she's already staking a claim on it. So I'm kind of making the decision that, yeah, you know, my birthday comes at the end of this year. I won't say exactly when. But I'm going to treat myself. We'll see if we can figure it out. I'm now starting to look at what I'm going to have to accept.
If it's your birthday, you don't treat yourself. Just mention what platform you want, and then hopefully a significant other, maybe.
Oh, well, no.
It's your birthday.
It's usually the kind of thing I pick.
But that's true. When you're married, it's like, I mean, my wife spends my money 100% of the time
yeah,
anyways.
man. It's just, we kind of don't do that. Well, we usually do something sweet that I'll keep between us before you guys make fun of us. But yeah, it's just, I'd rather pick that myself and figure it out.
Yeah, of course.
However,
shit.
I don't know. Oh, the imbalance just came out. We'll get into it.
Okay, so right now, BHC,
again.
Someone was just like, hey, what about the imbalances?
Oops, that's my bad.
Yeah, that is your fault, Neil. Nice one.
God damn.
But there's nothing on there anyways. Yeah. Wasn't there something about this getting spun off again, or something about BHC? It was on the imbalance locator a lot last week. BHC, again, a pretty... one of those names. You can see it's a buy and it's not moving up. So we're going to pass on that right now. Intel with the buy, not doing anything. So I'll hit them, and then you can see over here, it came 640 to sell. So there was a big sell side number there from Brendan. I don't see where that 640 is coming from. So it's just added up. Like all these names, I guess there is more sells than buys. Intel's the buy there. Where's Cisco? There's Cisco with the sell. And let's see if that did anything to the stock. Nope. So I don't know. It doesn't. And the NASDAQ right now also, guys. So those are the imbalances. I'm going to actually close them here. it's a hold my beer event. I mean, the market doesn't want to do anything. So yeah, that's pretty much what we'll do again. Nice little sell side number. I would say that's probably bullish that the market didn't turn around on that number. But again, looks like we're just going to wind up pretty much. I mean, if we close right here, then that's pretty much where we were. Although there was some traveling. You have to go all the way back to 10 o'clock right there. So traveled down, traveled up, and wound up somewhere in the middle, kind of as predicted here for the market today. So we're just excited, man. You are now officially 8 minutes away from the close of this market, and then we wait for 8:30 tomorrow, which CPI will be coming on at 8:25.
Like I put in the chat what I was getting at is I'm in the market for phones. So if you guys have suggestions out there, and Klopp is like, just not an iPhone, be a wolf, not a sheep. My brother, my dad, my mom, they're all Apple. And my household, like we had a Macintosh in the 80s, man. Like I didn't even have a piece, like anything that wasn't an Apple PC until I went to university, because when I was in university, you had to have, like you couldn't have a Mac.
Yeah.
It was just, everything was the other way. So I was the other direction, but I've just never been in the Apple universe. Like I'm gonna probably want an Android phone. It's just a matter of what type of Android phone I would get. Starting to get out of all these positions, the ones that are going, the ones that aren't. Like Rivian's still right here, 38.8. That's the one that's left. I took out Lucid at 55, so it only wins at 3 cents. Even Carvana, CVNA here. Oh, really? So I just took out Carvana because it wasn't going, and then it just made a bit of a breakdown to that 42. But even then, it's not really following through at this point. So a bit of a disappointment there. Thank you for the super chat. Bank Size Mommy. That's a nice name there. Thank you for the super chat. I'm getting all kinds of suggestions. You know what's better than maybe, instead of spamming the chat, just like DM me if you have ideas for phones.
But there's only a few ideas. Samsung has this Fold one. The Google Pixel.
I don't know about that Fold thing.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
I don't know if I'm into that.
Look, like I'm not a wolf nor a sheep. I'm an actual lion. And honestly, like Apple is, I've switched over, and it was just because of the environment. And honestly, like I don't feel like you're following people for Apple. You just pick whatever you want. They're literally a phone. Like
I just know the thing is, I like Android.
So do I. I love Android.
I know I want the Android platform. My phone right now is an Android phone.
Yeah.
The only one.
I thought it would be difficult to switch over, and honestly, I don't see one.
I'm not getting that Fold thing.
The Fold. I mean, it's just whatever
I'm not down with that.
It's whatever you're comfortable with, whatever. But you follow whatever. I had Pixel. I had Android for 15 years or whatever. The only Apple phone I bought was the first one, and then just switched over now. So I don't know. I don't really see a difference.
I said this joke. The last Apple product I personally owned was that it was the iPod Nano that I got.
One of those too.
I got for free, and like there was like a promotion, which I don't even know if they can do that. It was like if you did X amount of volume, and they gave away free stuff, and I did a bunch of volume on a gateway and got an iPad. A Nano. I'm still looking for it. I know I have it somewhere because I'm curious if I can pull it out, if it still works and what's on there. It would be a lot of fun to go watch. I'm now flat on the day. I just want to point out AMC just gave up VWAP, so probably good to take it out at 10.25. Market rolled over a tiny bit, but not a heck of a lot. Not much of a run here at the end of the day. And this is what we're dealing with, right? Like you're expecting. We were at 1% earlier in the day on the NASDAQ. We're at 1% now, holding the high, but a pretty tight range going into the number tomorrow, which I suppose makes sense, right? Like everyone is waiting around for 8:30 tomorrow. That's why we'll be back early, I'm assuming, because I think we got to that number on the likes. So coming back at 8:25, we know it's going to be a market moving event, but it's not about predicting where it's going to go. It's having a plan of action in front of it. I don't want to guess at where the prices are going to be tomorrow morning. I can come in early, see where we're at, make those judgment calls, and then play off that number.
You got to switch. It's ESZ right now. So
I switched. You know what I did? I switched my charts, my black chart, to Z, but I didn't switch the show chart. That's on me.
There is a couple price points difference there. That's on us. I did switch my my NASDAQ one as well to that here as we go. But look, it's going to be a fun one. It's only 5 minutes left. Let's just take a quick look at the imbalance locator. Like, this is crazy that I'm going to wind up getting out of Meta for flat. Like,
everything
is just flat. I mean, BHC is gone now. There's Apple. Apple showing up as a sell right there. But again, like, the market's really just absorbing all of this, so I don't think there's anything happening. I'm just going to offer out. There we go, out of Meta. Oops, I was on Apple still. There we go, out of Meta at 55 or 54, whatever that was. So honestly, we made money on it, net, and the only reason why we made money is because we actually took that out that I was debating taking in the first place there on Meta. So kind of a boring there. This is not Elon, this is Elan right there. Again, another cheap name coming through. Joby, isn't that the helicopters there on the sell? So maybe there's something there. $5 now. I don't know. I don't know what some of these prices are. Maybe the only interesting one would be Square, because we know that can move. We just talked about Apple not moving. Square as a bid. Let's just, okay, yeah, so there we go. So we kind of nailed one there, at least with Square. Square as a buy, starting to tick up there, a couple 20, 30 cents on that buy. But other than that, man, pretty boring. Just make sure all my script orders are canceled. And it's a super successful show, man. We only have one red name, and it's Oxy today. So, so far, so good here for oil, for the rest of it. And I don't see Tony, but I'm sure he's going to be on the bell pretty soon.
Well, we only got 3 minutes until we do have said bell. Not a heck of a lot there in terms of the overall market moving. We're still in the pocket there. I just checked out that TAL just out of curiosity. Megal did make that move to the downside. Probably a good idea to get out. It couldn't get past VWAP, so it took 595, and now it looks like it wants to close above 6. So this is going to be, hopefully it'll be one that we can look at for tomorrow as a low float or a smaller name runner. I think it can be a chance there. Adham Abu, thank you for the super chat. Says Apple is your best CPI indicator. Buffett knows better.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
why is Apple up?
There's some logic to that. I don't want to completely discount that, but as day traders,
Warren Buffett is also long.
It's a very different world.
Apple's not up 4% because he's in there today predicting that move tomorrow. But
and thank you, Mike P. Says most of the time, end of December, Samsung has a new phone, so I can wait for that because obviously my birthday.
But you don't want
is in and around
Samsung
that.
though, because then you're on a different operating system. They have that Tizen or whatever.
Yeah, that is a problem.
Look, I told you, I'm a man of the people here, but like honestly, my family is all Apple. So when I want to get a hold of my 8-year-old, I'll hit her up on Apple Messenger. We all share, playlists on Apple Music. Like I already pay for all that crap.
Yeah, like
so
we're at
Android.
We're at Android Google Home, so.
Yeah,
so that's. I'll probably stick in that.
They're
universe.
literally the same thing. But
once they get you in, and that's why they're so damn good. That's why Apple's so damn good, because once you're in the ecosystem, you're not leaving.
Same as Android though, too. Honestly, I didn't have any reason to leave.
It's like a black hole, baby. You can't get out of that.
But my first phone was the Motorola Razr, the flip phone. So
my pops,
shout out to that. That was my very first phone, and I didn't get my first phone. That thing was amazing. Yeah, until I was out of university, which is that how old we were. I think it was like the first year phones were made back then. But no, we're not that old. I'm my nice shirt on here. Okay.
You got the ice cube
I'm
today.
kind of close to Tony. Me and Tony kind of in the sort of the plaid today. So with only a minute left,
I gotta get a plaid shirt at some
point. The Nasdaq's going to be up near its highs, up 1.17%. So that's going to be a nice one. And yeah, it's Tony ringing the bell tonight. So that's going to be. We got to get. I love Tony on the bell, but I mean.
Gotta get working back into the show.
We do have more people coming in. There he is in the side there. We do have more people coming back to the office now as work from home, trying to end it, but it's just so comfortable for people to work from home. And if productivity's there, I don't have a problem with that, obviously. So
it's just nice to see people. I like seeing people.
I like the Samsung phone. Like, see, this is the problem. You make one opinion and it's over with. Okay.
People get heated about this kind of a thing.
Here we go. Yeah, people definitely get heated, but do whatever you guys want. Hey, I still use Google Maps. How about that? Here we go with only 10 seconds left. And Gmail. I mean, Google's my largest holding, man. What am I doing? 4. No, not 4 yet. Sorry. 6, 5, 4. Tony, 3, 2, and 1. Tony, don't go anywhere. You iPhone or Android? There we go. That wins. Android wins
for the win.
Right there. So there it is.
Tony breaks all ties.
The only problem is Tony's phone's like 14 years old, I think. So there we go. What's up to Tony?
Can't be older than Greg's phone.
No, Greg has a really. Well, your phone's. What's your production date on your phone?
I don't even know, man.
Yeah, so you might win. I don't know. Greg has like an S3 or something.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm serious. Your phone's. Anyways, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I like it, man. Christmas is not too far away, so that'll be a good phone for Neil.
I'm not actually born on Christmas, but as close as you can be to Christmas.
Oh, that's right. You said your birthday. I was using Christmas there. All right, what is up?
The same thing, man.
You're the one that said you didn't want to say the date, man, and then you basically just... All right, so what's up, Brendo?
Could be either or.
So Christmas, and then what, like a week or so, give or take? Just ish? Okay, cool. Neil's a very blank face right now. Anyways.
Boxing Day, deal with it.
Here we go. Positive, very positive. It's worth mentioning, there was a ton of sell volume coming in at the close there, and it all got absorbed. So we end the day basically at the highs. 127 there, 1.27 for the NASDAQ, the S&P 1.15. Nice day, top to bottom, guys. Positive across the board. Even Ethereum got back to green on the day. But yeah, a lot of selling pressure absorbed there right at the close.
Yeah, and a nice close for Bitcoin too, like pretty much at those highs. So
ooh, I like
yeah,
that.
right at the top there for Bitcoin. 22.5, it looks like we're gonna, well, just shy of that. 22.5 will end up there on Bitcoin closing off those highs. Strong move for crypto, but it's a big week. We're looking more forward to the end of the week with the Ether merge.
In case you're ever in the office and like you want to know like, you know, which ear charging case is mine, I mean, there you go, you know. No doubt about that. Which one's mine, and you could guess maybe which one's Neil's. Like, I don't know.
I got two. There's like Neil Old, which is my old one.
Oh, you got, okay.
And then there's a new one. So these.
And you got the Neil New on there?
Oh, these are those garbage old ones that were no good. These are the. Yeah.
Well, should we be sending them back? I mean, what?
Well, in case this breaks, they'll still kind of work.
Oh,
They're
I
just
got
not
it. Yeah, so there it is right there. That's the kind of technology that we're dropping around here. I just got that. I was like, oh, I got to take out my earpiece, make sure it gets charged up because tomorrow's a big day. Join us tomorrow at 8:30, 8:25. Sorry, scratch that, and we will be dropping hopefully some knowledge about CPI, and then we can trade that together, and that should be a lot of fun. A big thank you, obviously, today to Lucas and to Fahad in the back there. A big thanks to Liz, Katrine, everybody working hard, Maggie as well. She's back off vacation tomorrow, yeah. So that's good. We'll talk to her about that. I think she was in the NYSE, so that would be fun for her. Thanks to all the traders behind us. The midday show as well. Sharif all day, every day now. I shouldn't say that. I mean, he'll be subbing back in and out, but he was all day. He was there most of the time last week, I think, pretty much every time.
Dude's killing
I think
it,
Ian
so.
subbed in once or twice, but congratulations to Sharif and Pratt. That's a great midday show as well. Oracle's tomorrow morning, or
should be now.
It should be after market.
yeah, I don't really see anything happening for Oracle right now. So when that comes out, pay attention to that one. But hey, tomorrow's going to be an exciting one. Sleep well, get lots of rest. Bring your Java to your desk tomorrow because you might not want to get up. And we will see you tomorrow. From everyone here at 8:30. At 8:30, we'll see you. But from everyone here at Trader TV Live, join us at 8:25 tomorrow when we'll discuss the CPI. Have a great evening. Ciao.